Set me free, why don't you, baby? Get out my life, why don't you, baby? Cause you don't really love me. You just keep me hanging on. And that's a message to life, career, and everything in between, bitch. What are we
Mm-hmm.
doing? I
It's
hate
been
my
a
job.
week.
It's been a week.
Ah! Oh my
Y'all,
gosh.
it's been a week. I've been in the trenches fighting for my life, month end
Brandon, I
close.
am so proud of you for making it through, for doing what you need to do. You do this
Thanks.
every month and it sucks. And tomorrow you're gonna have a day off. It's the
This
4th
is
of July.
true. This is true. The fact that it's every month, though, just feels like
I don't know how you do what you do. You're such a hard
I
worker.
don't either. I wish you would have stuck with your accounting major so you would know.
Oh, so I could be we could be miserable together at the same place.
Precisely. But it's okay. It's over. So, y'all, hey, I'm Brandon.
I'm Maggie.
Welcome to the shade of it all.
We've had
Nothing
a
new
week.
here.
Nothing new. It's interesting because like the week has been rough, and then all of a sudden our technology decided not to work. I
Oh,
forgot.
yes. If y'all have been listening and if you notice there's like random skips throughout the episode, that's not intentional.
Yeah,
Not.
our microphone thing wasn't working, so I'm doing some tech support. We'll figure it
Yes.
out, but for
We have
right now we're
IT working
virtual.
on it,
IT is on the
but
case.
we're doing the reliable Zoom that we used to do, so at least we know the audio will be good.
Yes.
But y'all, not only has this week just been a week in general, just in life, even though thankfully, like you said, we have tomorrow off. This show.
Oh my gosh. I was like, oh, so we just don't like each other. So we all hate each other and we're all kind of mean. Okay, cool.
It's the fact that I like hate everyone.
Low key. I'm just like, wait, so everybody sucks. Throw the whole cast away.
No, it's just like crazy. Like I only love Amaya. And
Pretty
that's
much.
like it. I'm like everyone else, I'm like, wow, this is just like because even like I know people are like standing up for Huda, and I did feel bad for her, but I'm not like a Huda stan by any means because I have a memory. Um and then who else? People are liking Chris. I heard on one podcast he might be a Tory Lane supporter.
Ooh.
So I don't want to put that out if that's not completely true, though. I'm just saying it's what I heard on a podcast. I have not seen anything in support of that, but I'm just giving context as to why that's in the back of my mind in certain things and why I can't fully stand him. But I'm
Hmm.
also open to it not being completely true. But if it
Hmm.
is true, then I stand by not standing him.
My thing with Chris is I really liked him in these episodes. I'm just like, for the longevity of any relationship, like you're an international basketball player, like how's it gonna work
Yeah.
out? You know? So that's the only thing that like I'm hung up on with him. But like he seems like a really nice guy. He's very nice, we see in these
Hmm.
episodes. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know. And did we see preview for a movie night? I wonder if the whole like mailbox challenge was in lieu of a movie night.
Maybe, or they're just gonna do a bunch because the sneak peek for tonight's episode, it's gonna be like it looked like the Twitter challenge almost, or something like
Oh.
that. Like they're gonna find out what America has to say, and there's like balloons.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. All right,
So
cool.
I still hope they do movie night though,
Me
even though
too.
I only would want Cierra to see it, but I don't even know if she's gonna be in the villa by that time because people are
Yeah,
calling for
man.
her to be kicked out, which
Yeah,
can't
did
say I blame them.
you think of the research? Did you see the research? Oh my gosh. Guys, this has been an Invisalign week. I just had to change. I can't even talk. I just had to change my aligners, and this one hurts like a bitch, like a motherfucker.
Oh
In
God.
in Olandria's language, it hurts like a motherfucker. So sorry. Is this in reference to the clip that surfaced or the episode?
I think the what is it? The Instagram story that was resurfaced of hers where she
Mm-hmm.
said a racial slur.
Yeah.
And people are commenting on all the things saying she should be kicked out. I saw the US Sun was reporting something in TikTok.
Woo!
So it's getting traction.
Look.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it's at least addressed.
I was like, how did y'all not? Everybody was doing deep dives. I'm surprised it's coming out now, but yeah.
That's what surprises me too. I'm
Yeah.
like, y'all didn't see that before, but I guess people weren't looking until Sierra pissed them off and they're like, oh, we found this.
Actually, she sucks. Look at what we
Look at this.
found. Oh man.
So yeah, I don't know. I just can't stop thinking about how the season's low-key almost over and there's no one deserving to like win.
I was like, can Amaya win as a single person?
That part, I'm
Can
like,
she just take home 100K? Like, I think she deserves it. You
yeah.
know,
I feel like Huda and Chris are gonna end up winning somehow.
it might be. They're the only likable people like right now.
Yeah. It's
Um,
just,
or maybe TJ and Iris.
oh
I don't
God.
know.
I mean, they're going strong, but I hope not because they're so boring. Even though I
They
do like
are.
Iris.
The show hasn't even given them enough airtime to possibly win. I think the like preset winner was gonna be Ace and Chelley, but hey,
They can't get it together. And Shelly's making me side with Ace.
the way so oh my gosh, Brandon, there's so much. We gotta get into
There's
this.
too much. Okay, y'all. So we're going over episodes 24 through 26 of Love
Mhm.
Island USA season 7. And all right, how did 24 start off? Oh, yeah, this is after the Casa Amor recoupling, the very predictable, very long Casa
Feels like
Amor.
so long ago.
It
Crazy.
does. It feels like another life. And Olandria is basically just hurt because Taylor didn't give her a heads up that he
Hmm.
would pick Clark. But I do wonder if he's allowed to do that because I feel like I've heard before you can't like let people know. And I do feel like that's like a common misconception when it comes to like, or a common grievance when it
Hmm.
comes to people not getting picked. They're often like, oh, you didn't give me a heads up or you
Yeah.
didn't do this.
I remember seeing them talk before everybody got ready for the night. So maybe she felt like then he should have said something. But our common qualm with Taylor is you don't like her and you didn't tell her. So
Yeah,
I want to explore you both is bullshit. Like,
right.
you don't, and you're
That's
not.
the thing, and that's the common thing where and Taylor will say some things in episode 26, but I fear he missed the point of what the issue was, but we'll get
Right,
to that.
right.
Um Shelley says fuck that man, and I wish they would have kept that energy and that
Same.
sentiment, but we will see they don't. Um Landry is saying she wants to close the chapter, and this is where I'm hopeful. I'm like maybe this will happen.
Maybe we can do it.
But then Olandria tells Cierra about Nick and she's okay with it. But I do want to call bullshit on Olandria because she tried to say there was no spark in their kiss, and I simply don't believe that. We watched it. Come on. We saw. Don't play me. Um, Taylor's saying how he doesn't ever want to choose between two girls. I don't think he should worry about that. You won't, sir. Mm. Shelley
Well, you have a
saying
girlfriend at home, so you should be making choices anyway.
that's true. You're potentially choosing between three people. That's crazy. You got yourself in quite the pickle, Taylor.
Right.
Shelley saying Ace and Chris are very similar, which okay, but their height isn't.
LOL.
Um,
How? Explain how.
right. I don't see any similarities between anything like
Mm-mm.
with them at all. But maybe
Mm-hmm.
we don't see enough.
Yeah.
She says there's no one like Ace, but she still wants to explore Chris. Zach and Amaya are excited to get to know each other. They seem like they have potential. This is another thing, y'all. This season, you think you like a couple or you're like rooting for a couple, you're like, oh, this is gonna work. And in the very next episode, it's like, fuck that.
Literally.
It's as
Like
if it never happened.
we don't know these people at all. They
We
just
really
switch up so
don't.
quickly.
They do way too quickly. I can't keep up.
Hmm.
Nick tells Cierra about his Casa Amor experience in Olandria. He says he knew Cierra was his girl and Taylor was her guy. And this is where I noticed that I feel like Nick sounds so stupid when he talks to Sierra. Like it's almost as if he's struggling to find words. He's like, yeah, and then I do think that I like, you're my like girl and all that. And it's just, yeah. Whereas with Olandria, there was no stuttering.
Oh, he didn't stutter. He didn't
No,
stutter, honey.
not at all. And I just look, I don't know. It's just something I noted, which Nick and Sierra, they're really pushing for them to be the top couple, but I really don't give a fuck about them.
Yeah.
It's just like it
They're
feels
cute.
they're
I
cute-ish.
mean, I like them,
Eh,
but
it's just like I feel like they want like she really likes him and he wants us to believe that he really likes her.
yeah. I don't know. Let somebody else walk in and we'll see. But the way he jumps at bombshells, it's like I think you're like really open. And yeah, I am
Hmm.
surprised to hear you be like, I really, really like her, you know?
Yeah. It's not tracking. Or
Mm-mm.
as again what Kyle Cook once said to Lindsay Hubbard, that does not pencil. Um Then Sierra says she knew Nick would be excited to test their relationship. I want Sierra to listen to the words that just came out of her mouth.
Like you know him. You know how he
Like,
is.
come on.
Hmm.
She then tells him how Elan cut her pancakes into the letter C, and Nick looks annoyed. And this I saw a TikTok, they pointed out that he had spelled her name with an S during the recoupling. So they
He
thought that was like
did.
shade.
He did.
I'm like, Nick, really? And people are like, it's on her bottle.
Yeah, I think he's just stupid a little bit.
Right. And then this is also where Nick says he's like tired of tests and doesn't want to do that anymore. And my thing is just like, okay, because like you failed all yours and nothing else worked out.
You're tired of tests because nobody likes you right now. But had Jalen picked you, I really wonder. I really
Hmm.
wonder. Because before the recoupling, he was doing everything. He was talking to everybody super open. As soon as he wasn't liked, he was like, wait, but someone did like me once. And if that's what it takes for him to realize that Sierra's the one, but it's like it's a little I don't love it. I don't love it.
It seems to be not the best foundation for a relationship that will last.
100%.
But what do I know? TJ and Iris are happy together. Cool. Um, Andreina lets Brian know she wants to still explore and he agrees. And she has a crush on Pepe.
I was kind of surprised by that, but I was like, okay, go off, queen, do your thing.
I was too, because we hadn't really seen them speak before.
No.
But this is another one of those things where it's like, oh, we're building this up and then nothing happens. Okay.
Right.
Huda and Chris are happy together. She was worried he'd pick Chelley. Huda says she's moving to LA once her lease is up and says she's talked to her baby daddy about like moving states and everything. And I'm like, I wonder what that conversation was like. And like, would he
Yeah.
move too? But okay.
Right.
Chris doesn't care that she's a mom, and like, so that was sweet. Jaden was confident Austin would write her name down. Again, there's 20 people in this villa, y'all.
There's a
So they
lot of
show like
people.
snippets of people that literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Um, it's the next day. Nick makes the sea pancake for Sierra. And Elaine was like, yeah, I'm not gonna bring her breakfast. But then he does the same thing and makes the same sea pancake with like grapes.
Yeah.
Um,
She's like, that's really sweet, but I'm full.
that's so sweet, but I'm so full. Mm. Olandria'a says she usually cuts men off and wants to be petty, but she's saving face. Which, I respect that and I understand that, but I am glad in episode 26 when she kind of like lets it out a little bit.
Me too. It was good to see her like actually speak her mind.
Hmm. Taylor says he voted to keep Olandria and would be open to still explore with her, but thinks she's probably over it. Why are you lying? Why are you
Yeah.
saying you want to explore with her? No, you don't.
You don't like her.
And that's fine, but
That's
just say
fine.
it.
Yes.
Ugh,
Yes.
I can't with him. Alan still wants to explore with Sierra. Oh, and by the way, y'all, we forgot to address this. So we were trying a shorter format
Oh
last
yeah.
episode. We're kind of doing the same this episode because of like the amount of episodes and also just like the week we've had as we've discussed. So
Hmm.
we'll probably get to longer at some point. We receive positive feedback, but people do like the long ones. So we'll definitely go back to the long ones. But
Yeah,
we're trying to make do.
this one's a little shorter. Hang in there. Next one will be
Yes.
longer.
Um Elon still wants to explore with Cierra, and I don't like hearing Elan speak. It just feels like he's writing an
Ew.
essay and he's trying to like meet a word count. He's like, and so then I would see this and I would want to be like this. And then I also thought this. And then I had an epiphany. And then I wanted to do this. And then in conclusion, and I'm just like, sir, enough. I don't want to hear this. This is too much.
I think he's cute.
Uh-oh.
I
I
was
think
like,
he
oh, his little curly hair and his like soft face, his little baby face.
he's not ugly.
So I was a little too distracted to see notice how annoying he speaks.
Maggie has a crush.
I like Elan.
Uh, Ace doesn't want to close things off just because Chris is here, because he sees how Shelly's like talking to him and everything. And I'm like, okay, well, why don't you just want to close it off because you like this is why Shelly doesn't feel good in this because you keep wanting to explore and you keep trying to play games where if you were just like real and if you want to close things off, like I feel like she'd be open.
Right. And him saying that is let's just remember that A said that because later he
Hmm.
says something else. And I'm like surprised now remembering that that's what he said.
Yeah. I don't like I feel like he set this all up because I think he thought that that she would just always be there and now he's realizing that she's like liking other people and he didn't think that would happen.
Yeah, I think that Ace is very much like, I do this, so you should do this too. And is not like open to other people doing things their own way. It has to
Yeah.
be like his way.
Hmm. He doesn't really meet in the middle, which
No.
I don't know if Shelley does either, but we'll get to
True.
that. Iris and Cierra are talking, and Cierra tells her about how Olandria and Nick explored their connection, and Iris is just like, okay, like you're such a cool girl, but like that would bother me if like my best friend and like the guy I just slept with were like making out, like what the fuck? And I'm like, low key true. It is Love Island, so I feel like it's weird in general, but not wrong.
Yeah, when Iris said that, I was like, that's, you have a point. But she was like, so like if your best friend, would you sleep with someone that or would you kiss someone that your best friend just slept with? No, but we're on Love Island, so yeah,
Yeah.
what you
And
said.
Sierra's like, oh, now I'm like thinking about it. And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm just like, okay, girl.
Yeah.
Uh, and then Ace and Taylor, or no, wait, Shelly and Chris talk, and she low-key's crushing on him. They kind of argue together. And he's saying that seeing her with Ace makes him want to step it up
Mm.
and all that. And I'm like, we'll see if he actually does step it up.
Let's see, yeah.
Um, Ace and Taylor are in the sauna. This was funny. They were so intense in the sauna.
Yeah, they were.
I was like, what a scene.
I don't lose. I don't lose. The way I move is I don't lose.
Right. And he's just like, I'm just frustrated. I could have picked Coco to stay, but I chose Shelly and I don't lose. So like, I can't let this happen. And I'm like, okay.
Okay. I think maybe he's taking her not closing off as rejection. But it's
Yeah.
like you're Dora the motherfucking Explorer, so I don't want
Right.
to hear it, honestly.
Right. It's not her fault that she's actually finding someone that she's actually interested in, whereas when you explored, you didn't really.
Right, you were just doing it because you like, because girls like it when you say no.
Right.
Let's see if boys like it when you say no.
Uh, Shelly and Ace talk, and she says there's something there with Chris and points out that they're not closed off. And then she's like, would I even be a priority in your life? Because like you live such a busy life and everything. And he's like, you would definitely be a priority outside of the villa.
And then he like smolders, and I'm like, you
Mm,
didn't
yeah.
answer the question, but sure.
Ace doesn't answer questions, he deflects. But they do kiss. And I'm like, y'all are cute. Like, if y'all could just get together, it could work, but I don't
It
know.
could.
Taylor and Clark talk about how they want their future homes, and low key, they're cute together.
They are. No, they are.
Like, and like you see his difference. I'm like, I like this.
When Taylor likes someone, it's adorable. It's like really
Hmm.
cute to see him open up and to see him just be relaxed and be himself.
Right. It's just like if he would only be honest with Olandria, I could appreciate him and Clark's chemistry more. But because
Exactly.
he's not, I'm like, ugh, I can't root for this completely.
Yeah, you gotta leave.
You gotta
You
go.
have you have 30 minutes.
You know you have 30 minutes? Chris pulls Ace for a chat, and the height difference is amazing. Chris just wants to clear the air and not have it awkward. He likes Chelley, and he just wants him to know like he respects him and everything. And Ace is like, I respect you too, and we have no issues with each other and all this. And then they like, they just leave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool,
Cool.
good to know this. Amaya gets a text. It's the heart rate challenge.
Woo.
Um, Elaine wants. It says he wants to tease some of the guys because he thinks it'd be funny. I don't think he ended up doing that though. And then he also comes up with the idea to bring Cierra and Taylor to the center.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, okay. Interesting, interesting.
Olandria seems like she was about it.
She
She was like,
was.
"Oh, okay."
Okay, bet. Um, the heart rate challenge, I didn't write down everyone because y'all, there's 20 people and they do it as
Yeah.
couples.
They do.
Like this was just utter chaos. But I did do the highlights.
What do you think about them not matching?
That didn't make sense either.
I was like, so do we not have enough costumes? Like, you have enough singular ones? Like, it was cute last year when they were like pairs. Weren't they pairs last year?
Last year they did it as like single, like the girl will go by
Oh,
themselves, and then it just like because I think there was only like six couples or something.
that's right. Yeah, because
Hmm.
like Cordell was like a nerd, but like everybody had their own thing. But to be a pair and be looking different, I thought that was weird.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. I was like, it's throwing me off, and there's too much going on.
Yeah.
Amaya and Zach, I thought were funny though. That was
hmm
one thing I noted. They were good. And she was
hmm
like pretending she worked at like a diner and she was like, you like my pancakes?
Yeah, her ad libs are cute.
Austin made me sick. He was like on a leash. I was like, get out of here. Every girl wanted to kiss Sierra. When it was Chelley and Ace's turn and Chelley went back for seconds with Chris, I was like, that's crazy.
I was surprised by that. Like, oh, okay, girl, go off. He was like, they were both going in, but when she doubled back, I was surprised by that.
Same. I was like, oh, okay.
He's standing right
Um,
there. He can see you. Ace can see you.
right. They bring Amaya to the center, Shelly and Ace, and like
Yeah.
double team her. And Amaya's just like, oh, babe, okay, no boundaries now, I guess. All right. And I'm like, period, call it
Period,
out.
Amaya.
And then when she walks away and her shoes are off, I'm like, I'm dead.
She
That
was
was the
like kicking her
funniest
heels.
thing.
So I was like, did y'all pick her because she was like the most like the person that like, okay, like if we do it with Amaya, it doesn't matter, it doesn't mean anything, like 100% maybe.
Yeah.
But I was surprised Ace was willing, seeing that he like hates her.
Same. That like threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll go with it. It was funny
Right.
at least.
It was cute, yeah.
Um, Huda and Chris go, and Huda goes in on Ace, and Shelly is pissed. Is Do you think Huda went too far?
Yeah. I think she went too far in the sense that like she did a lot. Now, when Shelly was mad and stuff, I was like, yeah, she did a lot, but you're mad at Huda? You know Ace hates Huda. You know, like
Yeah.
she did do a lot, but I was kind of surprised that Shelly was so mad about it.
Same. I think like hmm. I think Huda took it too far, but I don't think Huda meant anything by it.
Right.
And then like I think what really pissed Shelly off maybe was because Ace liked it
He
and was
played
like,
into it.
yes.
Yeah, like so she was like on top of him. He grabbed her ass with both hands, and I almost feel like I wonder if she kept going because he was feeling it. So she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay."
They were both in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know.
Yeah,
But I get maybe wanting to talk to Huda about it,
yeah.
but she gets very
Shelly was very mad. We've
she
never seen
was.
this side of her before.
Then Cierra and Nick go and they low-key give swingers vibes. Like they like just look a little too into everything, which is fine,
They
but
both really love games like this.
they do and they get into it. And like I said before, all the girls are trying to make out with Sierra.
I
Like,
think every girl made out with Sierra.
yeah. Nick though, I'm sorry, he's not breaking the Nicolandria allegations. He licked Olandria's foot, like all the
Yeah.
bottom of it, and then sucked her toe while making eye
Yeah.
contact.
And she was just like,
You don't do that with
oh!
someone you didn't have a spark with. I'm sorry. Come on.
Oh, let us find out later.
Mm-hmm. Olandria and Elan go, and Olandria does the thing where she takes Taylor to the center of it. And
Hmm.
Clark feels like maybe Olandria took it too far, or she says she doesn't want to say she took it too far because it's a challenge. And I'm like, exactly, it's a challenge, and that's her ex. Like, it's gonna happen.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Elan says when he brings Sierra, it's your turn to watch now, bro. And Nick is like,
He was like, okay,
he's like,
and
Elan crossed a line. I'm like, okay. Um, Taylor kept it cute during his turn out of respect for Clark, also because he does not like Olandria.
hmm.
Um, I was gonna refer to the Love Island images to see who raised who heart rates the most, but honestly, like, who cares? Should
Yeah.
I say it?
No, I think you're good. It
Okay.
wasn't that deep. Just highlights Ace
Um,
was raised the most by Huda.
yes.
That's the only one that really matters.
Mm-hmm. And then as a couple, Nick and Sierra raised the most.
Hmm.
So, swingers vibes. Um, Shelly's pissed and feels like Huda crossed a line. Huda tells Idrina and Maya that Chelly is mad at her, and she's confused because everyone's usually like, "Oh, it's just a challenge," but she does seem overall like, "Oh, I want to fix this. Like, I don't want her to be mad at me."
Yes.
Shelly's telling Olandria, Sierra, and Iris she might be tripping, and Sierra says automatically, "No, you're not. Like, that was crazy what happened." And she says Huda had no respect, even though she expected so much when it came to Jeremiah.
Hmm.
Shelly wants Huda to own that she brought Chris over for herself. And Sierra's just like co-signing all this because they're talking about like Casa. I guess Huda tried to be like, oh, I really am bringing him for you, but I'm kind of interested in him as well. And Shelly thinks that it was only because Huda was interested in him and wants her to just own that.
Okay. I I don't know about all that,
Uh,
but I'm just like, okay, so I don't know. Like it
yeah.
was I don't think she did it for I don't know because later they say more shit and that confuses me. So I'm gonna comment on it later.
Right.
But in terms of the first part, I get the whole thing about Jeremiah. My only like little slither of defense for Huda is you didn't say don't do that with Ace. Whereas Huda made it clear, don't do that with Jeremiah. But I guess in their head, they're like, if you don't want it done to you, don't do it to anybody. That's their
Yeah.
logic. But I was like, you guys always seem really open with anybody doing anything during challenges, you know? So
Yeah.
that's why I was like, damn, like, I don't think she was malicious. I personally think Chelley is more upset about the Chris thing. And so everything, and probably maybe other things that Huda's done. And so
Yeah.
this is like the icing on the cake for her.
It does seem like a build up, which she so
Yeah.
much as says, but it's not just one thing. But Huda says she loves Shelly and doesn't want her to be mad at her. Amaya says, "Oh, you should just speak to her." And we know you didn't have any bad intentions. Idrina then goes to Shelly and tells her what Huda says, but twist it to make it seem bad.
Yeah. I was like, what's this about?
Right. She's basically only saying that Huda doesn't understand why she's mad because it's just a challenge. But really, like, Huda partially said that, but really she was like trying to like be empathetic and like she didn't want an issue with Chelley.
Right, right.
So that was weird on Andreina's part.
Yeah.
Um, Now Chelley is just questioning her friendship with Huda.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
But let's see how this pans out because I don't know. There's just things that happen that I'm like, does this need to be happening?
Right, right.
But that was it for episode 24.
Okay. So 25 starts with a bunch of post-challenge chats. Taylor says that he didn't kiss Olandria to respect Clark. I think he's talking to her when he says that. Brian says that he wants to talk to Jaden and that things with Andreina are getting boring. And
Ooh.
I was so surprised by this. I was just like, boring? Y'all seemed really hype, but I guess we really haven't seen anything, I guess.
No, that part. They really never really showed them speak. So I guess like
Yeah.
it's really
We,
just like they had their makeout session in Casa Amor. They seemed
hmm.
kind of like um by each other's side like a lot of the time and everything. So it seemed like they were into each other, but then last episode she said she had a crush on PePe. He seemed
Yeah.
bored with her. So like we're really not seeing anything.
Yeah. It's interesting. Ace is talking to the boys and he agrees that Huda did too much, but he also notices that Chelley kissed Chris twice. And the boys are kind of saying to themselves, like, it's not just a challenge anymore. Because Nick then says how he was feeling towards Elon. He wanted to hit him. Like, that's how upset he got. Elon talks to the Casa guys, and he said, the guys are like, you said, oh, it's your turn to watch. And that really pissed Nick off. And he's like, oh, really? He's like, kind of surprised that Nick was actually mad.
Hmm.
And then the Casa girls chat, Clark says that Taylor handled things well, and the girls agree. And then Taylor talks to Olandria. And he was like, oh, you did your big one, but I wanted to be respectful to Clark. So I didn't kiss you when it was my turn, even though I wanted to. And he was like, I just wanted to like explain that to you so you knew why I did what I did.
Hmm.
She says like she gets it, but she's still thrown off about like what happened between them. And they really haven't talked. I think this is their first conversation since the recoupling.
I think it is because I
So
think
they
she said like they hadn't spoken since and like the heart rate challenge was their first time even like interacting.
yeah. So she was like, what happened in 3 days for you to totally change? And he was like, well, Clark just gave me like different feelings. Actually, I didn't like you at all, and I like Clark.
What he should say but won't.
Right. In her confessional, Olandria says she doesn't know how she feels and why should she continue to invest in him if he has turned so differently in just a few days. Huda tells Chris that Chelley is mad. And he's like, apologize, but like if she's open, she shouldn't be acting like that or feeling any kind of way. He's like, if she wants to act like that, let her act like that. So he kind of tries to comfort her. It doesn't really work. Huda still feels really bad. She
Hmm.
says that, like, Shelley's her girl and she's not that person. And Chris is like, he doesn't believe that she is like a good person or a bad person. Like, he's like, I think you're fine either way. And he keeps trying to reassure her. He says that she knows her intentions and Chelley knows that, you don't like Ace. It was just a challenge. And I was like, I really liked how Chris was like comforting her here, like, and being very logical about it.
Yeah.
All the things he said were valid. Like, you don't like Ace.
Yeah, there's nothing to like worry about.
Exactly. So Huda pulls Chelley and Shelley's like, okay. But then as they like get to sit down, she's like, you know what? And Huda tries to start talking, and Shelley's like, I think we should just chat tomorrow night. Or I think we should just chat tomorrow. Tonight, I don't want to chat. I'm aggravated. I'm annoyed. And I don't want to speak and say anything out of turn. And Huda's like, okay, no worries. But in her confessional, she's crying and she's really upset. Like, I think she
Yeah.
feels really, really bad. And I feel kind of bad for her too.
I do too. I mean, I get Shelly not wanting to talk because she's like upset or anything. So it's like she doesn't
Yeah.
want to argue. But
Yeah.
I get Huda being upset as well.
Yeah, like it's hard for when you're like feeling bad. I think she's just
Hmm.
really sitting in it. In her confessional, Chelly says, when it was Jeremiah, I didn't kiss him ever out of respect for you. But then you did this with Ace, and during the challenge, you kept looking over at me, like afterwards, saying, oh, it's just a challenge, no hard feelings. But there are hard feelings, like leave me alone, you're pissing me off. And I was like, oh, damn.
Oh, she's pissed.
Chelly was big mad, really big mad. And I was like, I kind of get it. Nick pulls Elan.
I can't.
And in this one, I feel like these are two people who don't know each other, and you can kind of tell. You
Yeah.
know?
Nick is being like immature and overprotective, and
Kinda,
then
yeah.
Elaine's kind of a shit starter.
He's just like, well, I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
So Nick tells him, like, I know you were a couple in Casa, but that kind of pissed me off that you were even a couple in Casa. He said he's surprised that he even brought her to the heart. Like, oh, he said, oh, the balls on that dude to do that. And he's like, I support doing your big things and challenges, but I guess our relationship was so strong, and then you coming in here and doing that, it just put me off. And Elon was like, in Casa, Cierra said that if she had the opportunity to explore them both, that she would. And Nick is like, but what about you made her but like this morning you made her food after you saw I was making her food and you told me you weren't going to make her food and then you did it anyway. I was like, this is kind of stupid, but whatever.
Right.
He's like, I feel like you were disrespecting me in a way, so that pissed me off. If you're just gonna make breakfast for her, just say you're gonna make breakfast for her. Just be straight up. And Elan's like, I didn't intend to make her breakfast. I just remembered. I think he said I had an epiphany that I remembered just in the morning that in Casa I made her pancakes with a C, so I just wanted to do it again.
And then I just had this epiphany that I used to also make her pancakes that were a C shape. And I was like, I should do that too, even though you already were making breakfast.
Yeah. He's like, I just did it to let her know I was still interested, but I wasn't like keeping it behind your back. So Nick is like, shit, it's still not sweet.
Mm.
And he just tells Elan that he was pissed off. And Elan's like, sorry, bro, I didn't mean to piss you off. And I'm just like, I kind of get why Nick is mad, but like everybody could see it. I mean, it was mostly girls, but some of the guys could Cierra too. You're just mad that Elan did it. I think you're like feeling
Yeah.
protective because they did have something in Casa,
Hmm. He's feeling
and he looks like
insecure.
you, kind of a better version of you.
Oh, and also I think because he's like, oh, he's trying to like embarrass me by saying like, oh, now it's your turn to watch type thing.
So what's funny though is Nick has been little broed by like everybody, by
That part.
PePe. I feel like PePe did it in the kitchen at one time, and I feel like other people have like
No,
been like
they
whatever,
have. I forget who, but people have. Like, they do
but
not respect Nick.
they don't. But Elan, he's like, oh, I'm gonna say something to him. But like everybody's low key been doing it to you, Nick, and you just take it on the
Right.
chin, you laugh it off. But not
Mm.
with Elan. And I'm noticing like people are intimidated by some people and then they'll speak their mind to others. So I guess Elan can be your punching bag for a little
Oh,
bit.
like Austin being intimidated by Ace, but having no issue speaking up to Amaya.
I was like, you just yelled at that girl and Ace is literally belittling you in front of everybody and you've saying nothing?
All
We'll
right,
get there. But that
we'll
pissed
get
me
there.
off. I peeped.
Hmm.
I was like, oh,
Interesting.
oh,
Oh,
Amaya, blah, blah, blah. I was like, Austin, I wish you left week one. If we're being honest, I don't know why
if
you're
we're
here.
being real, Austin, we've been wanting you to fucking go.
Exactly.
So, mhm.
Anyway, Chelley and Ace talk. She says that she is mad at Huda. But and he's like, I get it. I was just going along with it. But him saying to her, you doubling back to Chris hurt me. And it kind of pissed me off. It's hard to watch. I sent a person home knowing our connection was stronger, and you come back still looking to keep exploring. So this is when I was like, so when Ace is ready to do something, you got to do it with him. But when he's not
Yeah.
ready to do something, it's cool. You can do what you want. Everything has to be on his terms, and that's kind of annoying
Hmm.
to me when
I
he said
agree.
this. I'm just like, So she has to close off because you know that in your head, this time of the season, you should close off to win. I don't know. I don't know. It's not part of his master plan. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shelley says her intention wasn't to double down on what it was she thought she was feeling or anything specific to Chris. She wasn't trying to prove a point or anything. And he says he doesn't believe her. It seems intentional to him. In her confessional, she's like, "Are you serious? I just watched you tongue down every person in the room, giving a big ass fucking show, but you didn't have anything to say about that. But you do have something to say about me going back to Chris. Like I told you, I'm exploring. What's the confusion here?" And she just tells him calmly, "I can't force you to believe me." And Ace just says it's a lot for him, and she just looks annoyed. So this is the first time we kind of see them like at odds with each other.
Yeah.
Um, and
And it doesn't
yeah,
seem like they're going to work through it. Like they're just not hearing each other.
they're not. They're not.
And she low key talks around the fact that she went to Chris twice.
She does. And I guess in her mind, she's like, "I'm exploring. What do you mean? You kissed everybody too, but you did kiss him twice, which is his point, you know?"
Mm-hmm.
But also, yeah, yeah. They continue to they're gonna go back and forth until we're done talking
For a while.
tonight.
Right.
So Huda goes and sits by Olandria where they eat, and they're fucking up some sandwiches. Those sandwiches
Hmm.
look good. I
They
was like, I don't know if
did.
this is ham and cheese or what, turkey and I don't know, but it
I
looked good.
need this.
Olandria's like, "I want another toasty," and I'm like, "I would eat like you guys look great, and you get to eat whatever you want," and I'm low key jealous.
Right.
Anyway,
Mm.
Huda asks her, "Am I a terrible person?" And Olandria's like, "No, but it was a little much," and she just kind of walks away, and Huda cries. And Amaya goes and checks on Huda, and she's like, "What's wrong, baby? What's going on?" And she's like, she told her what happened with Chelley. Amaya's kind of surprised. And then Chris, oh my gosh, Chris checks in on her too, and just says like, "Hey, you're gonna be fine," kind of thing. And they kind of finish talking. Amaya spilt some water on her, so it was a little bit of comic relief.
Oh, yeah.
But Huda was like, "I deserve that." And I'm like, "Huda, please,
Put a doubt.
just smile a little bit. It's Amaya."
Ugh.
Um. So then Huda and I guess Huda and Olandria talk later. Oh,
Uh,
sorry, wait, no. Sorry, Chelley tells Cierra what Ace said. They're all getting ready for bed.
oh, yeah.
And Cierra says, "It's giving, I don't know why you're mad, but now I'm mad because you're mad." And Shelley's like, "Thank you." And I was like,
Exactly.
"Is that what it's giving?"
I know. I'm like, okay.
He kind of has a reason to be mad, but like, I was surprised that Ace was mad too. I was. I was.
Yeah.
Um, And then Huda and Pat, like while they're getting ready for bed, Huda tells Olandria that she's handling things really well. And Olandria's like, "I have to. I know you would probably crash out." And they kind of laugh a little bit. I thought that was funny.
That was good.
Um, it's the next day. Ace brings Chelley breakfast and some plastic looking flowers. I don't know if he got the flower memo from Casa or something.
Maybe.
I don't know who told him what.
What did this happen yet? No, I think that happens in episode 26 because I know Shelley brings up flowers at one point, but
Mm,
maybe so because he
yeah,
brings flowers multiple times.
he does. He does. And I think it's cute that he still is doing breakfast for her, even
Yeah.
though they're kind of at odds.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris does too. He brings Shelly stuff. He brings Shelly breakfast and he brings breakfast for Huda. And then Chris and Elan talk about how bad and cool Amaya is, and I was like, "Please save her." Huda then tells the girls that like she will wait for Shelly to approach her. Maybe it seems like she was trying to steal Ace, and maybe that's why Shelly is upset. But then she's like, "Chris brought Shelly breakfast and gave her two pancakes, but I only got one pancake. And then he brought Shelly flowers, but didn't give me any flowers." And the girls are like, "Really?" And in her confessional, Huda just says, "I'm irritated. Like, why are they doing the most in front of my face?"
Huda does have a past with breakfast.
Pancakes
So,
specifically.
yeah. So, like, this isn't surprising, but I guess I do understand
Yeah.
why she would feel away, or at least be like, well, damn, I guess I got the
Yeah.
leftovers.
Yeah. Like the flower thing is kind of because Shelly said she likes flowers. So, like, I kind of get that. But one less pancake, dude? Like,
You can split that one in half.
right. Or you could make another one real quick. You already made three. You could
Mm,
make a fourth.
they ran out of batter.
I guess so. Olandria, Cierra, and Chelley chat. And they tell Olandria that she should talk to Zach, Brian, and I wrote Austin, but I don't think that's right. Is that right?
Um, that Olandria should?
Mm-hmm. That
I
doesn't
don't,
sound right.
not
Is there another
Austin.
guy with an A name?
Um, there's Ace, so I don't think Ace. Zach. I know Taylor. They're still saying him. I don't
Yeah.
know.
They said Taylor, but I don't know if they said Austin. We might have to scratch that. But they're
Yeah.
like, girl, go talk to people. And Shelly says that she should talk to Taylor too. And Olandria's like, how do you guys feel about that? But before they can answer, a text comes in. It's for Cierra. And it says, Cierra, you and Nick are going on a date. Get ready. Everybody freaks out. He does a backflip into the pool. And I'm like, finally, somebody gets in the fucking pool.
I know, right?
They're all hype and super excited. Everybody goes to help them get ready. Amaya, while they're getting ready, says, make babies, make some love, and take some pictures.
LOL.
He's so
I
cute.
love her.
So, like,
But
yeah.
also, they're not being good friends to Elandria. They need to tell her no, stop talking to Taylor.
That
Mm,
part, like the way that Taylor didn't talk to you like all day until you had a challenge or something, and then he says something like he's obviously not feeling her.
yeah.
It's very clear. So I agree, they should tell her that. But Nick and Sierra leave, and they see two bikes in a basket. And I don't know about you, but if I was going on a date and I saw two bikes, I would have been like, oh,
It's
you
an
know what?
activity.
It's an activity. Okay, biking is cute. When I saw the hill, I would have been like, y'all got me fucked up.
No. I'm
They
like,
bike
y'all couldn't
up,
drive us or give us a car?
right, they bike up a massive hill. Jeremiah and Huda went to a water park and we get to ride bikes up a hill.
I would
And they kind
not.
of struggle up the hill a little bit. I was like, this is kind of rough.
No, I would have hated that.
Yeah. But then they get to a beautiful view and it was all worth it. So
Was
they
it?
put out they put out a picnic basket. They have some sandwiches. It's cute. And Nick says last night Elan made him so mad. And Sierra's like, is it an ego thing or is it a me thing? And Nick is like, I was just feeling protective. I'm like, so an ego thing.
Right.
She says that she has had trust issues in previous relationships, and the kiss with Olandria kind of made her uncomfortable. Like, did he have to do that to figure out things with her? And like, how would he feel if it was Taylor? And he was kind of surprised, but he says he understands, and it just gave him clarity on their relationship and that they wanted to be together, which is what he told you initially too. I think
Yeah.
Iris just got in her head.
Hmm. He was just like, it was just funny because when she's like, "Oh, what if I did that with Taylor?" He was just like, "That actually is a great comparison." Okay, Nick.
Okay, Nick.
I can't with him.
He's funny. In the villa, Huda talks to Chris and she brings up the pancake thing. And he's like, I'm sorry, like I didn't mean to make it seem like I didn't mean to make it seem like that. That you got more than Chelley did, or Chelley got more than you did.
Hmm.
And Huda just says that it made me feel like the side piece and that you're showing favoritism. And I was having a bad day and it kind of added to it. So she just says she feels left out today. And I was like, oh, Huda.
Oh,
He apologizes and she starts to cry. And he asks if there's anything she needs from him. And she's like, no. And he kind of wipes her tears. And she said she just wants to talk to Chelley. And then later she asks if she was ugly, would it make it better? And I
that
was
was a
like,
weird comment. I'm like, okay, Huda.
Chris is like, no, you give her some space and some time.
Am I
And
just too beautiful?
like, is it because like I'm really hot and she's like feels threatened by my hotness and my level of sexiness that like I could possibly steal her man from her right from under her?
Like, do I have to be
No.
fucking hideous to have friends?
Do I have to be ugly to make out with your man in front of you and twerk on his face?
Maybe. I can't.
But Chris was like, no, just give her some space and give her some time. You just kissed somebody that she was really interested in. So just apologize to her. And again, I'm like, see, like Chris really can like calm her down and like speak to her in a very like calm way, you
Yeah,
know.
he seems to center her.
Yeah, and he like is understanding. Like I don't think he felt like he was like because he made a face when she said the whole like favoritism thing, but he didn't like go off. He was just like, I'm sorry. I get how it could seem that way, you know? Like
Yeah.
he's really like calm and patient with her. In his confessional, he says it's clear that the person he wants to get to know the most is Chelley, but he has to figure it out because he is developing feelings for Huda. I was like, okay, let's see where it
Okay.
goes. On the date, Cierra asks, and she asks, like, did you come in with expectations? Like, what do you think would happen here? And Nick was like, he had no expectations. But for her, after they had sex, she knew that there was nobody else she wanted to pursue in that way, and nobody makes her feel like he does. And he's like, it's really easy with you. You're very radiant and gravitational. Okay, now I kind of see what you mean earlier when you're like, oh no, you said Elan talks like he's trying to hit a word count. Nick is just stupid.
Yes, Nick would. He's just dumb, especially when he talks to Sierra.
She's like gravitational?
All right.
Question mark. And then they both are like, man, it just feels like what it would be like outside, the villa. And he's like, yeah, I'm like, she's scared but excited for it. She's like excited to find out like how he texts and like how he is, what music he likes.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, so like, because like we're feeling like so good and like so good and would you want to be closed off? And she's like, yes. And then they kiss and they decide to be closed off. And it was cute. It was really cute.
It was cute. You know, it was. I don't know. I'm just like,
I know you want him to be with Olandria.
I do, but I'm also just like, I don't know. It's just like, I just don't buy. I buy it, but I don't buy it. And
I know that. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know. Like now
Yeah.
they're closed off, but it just feels like it got weird before it got closed off because he
Yeah.
wanted to explore so much that
Yeah.
now it just feels like she's like, so yeah, like I think she really wants it to be closed off, and then he's feeling insecure, so he wants to close it off.
Yeah.
But really, it's just like I don't know. I feel hollow. What can
Yeah.
I say?
No, I'm right there with you. I think that she really likes him. I think that he was really having fun.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's like really like that for him. We'll
Mm-hmm.
see. Back in the villa, Olandria and Chelley chat, and Olandria is like, I can't believe that she's exploring right now. And so she said she's gonna go talk to Zach. They had great chats before that she really loved, and they had a lot in common. So she says in her confessional she's gonna put more effort into exploring than with Taylor because that got her nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Ace comes and pulls Chelley, and they talk. And she said, Huda was disrespectful, but with them, they need to discuss boundaries because not everyone needs a 10-minute makeout session. She explains like what she saw during the challenge. And he's like, okay, but you're not in the right either. And she says, I'm not saying I am. And he's like, you kind of are. You're not taking ownership of what you did. And she says, she made it quick and she kept going. It doesn't have to be like all of that. And he says, it comes back to the closed off conversation. I don't understand how you're able to tell me that you feel a way knowing it doesn't mean anything during a challenge, but then you're going to actually form a connection with somebody outside of the challenge. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And Chelley's like, you said you wanted to be open to exploring, so I am exploring. But you are comparing me exploring to you kissing everyone in the room, and I'm supposed to sit here and be like, oh, that's not crazy, but this is crazy. A says he says, I feel like you're doing the same thing too. And she says, I'm just talking. Like, I'm just getting to know somebody. I'm not like kissing a bunch of people. So they don't agree. Um, in his confessional, A says, I feel like I'm not being heard and I'm not being understood. We're taking steps back and we're not finding common ground, and that's pissing me off. And then he keeps talking to her and he says, setting aside boundaries for somebody I feel or sorry, setting aside boundaries for somebody, I have to feel like we're in a place where we're working towards being closed off. And I'm not feeling like that right now. And she says, all right, I guess we'll talk later.
Oh,
So I was kind of like, you're not having your way. So she's not seeing it your way. So there can be no resolution. And like, I didn't like how he was immediately like, but like, you're saying like, you're right and I'm not. And I feel like it just went to right and wrong in his brain.
yeah.
And I'm like, there are feelings involved. There really is no right and wrong. Like, you need to understand, but you want her to agree with you. She kind of
Yeah.
wants you to agree with her, and you guys aren't like hearing each other out, you know?
Yeah. It's just complicated because it's just like I don't know because I think the root is he's insecure that she likes somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And then her whole thing is she doesn't want to feel guilty about liking somebody else, but also she feels bad because of what Huda did. But she's
Yeah.
not mad at him. But then she does bring up him kissing everyone in the challenge. But that kind of is what everyone did in the challenge. But I don't
Right.
know. I'm like confused.
Yeah, because the original point he made was you went back and kissed Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I thought that she was gonna be like, you can't be mad. I kissed somebody, you kiss 10 people. Like you can't do that, you know? Like you do the same thing with other people. But then they started talking about something else, and it kind of
Right.
lost me because she's like because I thought she brought up boundaries because that's kind of what he was alluding to, but it
Mm-hmm.
seems like she actually does want boundaries and felt like he did too much. So I
Yeah.
don't know. They're both doing like a right for wrong kind of thing, and there's no right and wrong, and there's feelings involved. Like
Mm-hmm. It's
it's
just
like how you
confusing.
feel. It
Mm-hmm.
is. Chris asks Amaya about Zach, and she says he didn't talk to her or anyone all day. He's just been talking to the guys. So she's kind of questioning his intentions. Elan overhears and
Ugh.
goes and tells Zach. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why are we playing telephone
That
today?
fucking shit stirrer.
I was like, why would you do that, Elan? Like, why?
Right. Because he's interested in Amaya. He's like, by the way,
Yeah.
Zach, just so you know, like, I want you to have this so, like, you can consider it and everything like that. It's like, shut the fuck up, Elaine. Go make
And
another
then
pancake. Why don't you make an A pancake for Amaya?
and then Zach just mutters something, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. Taylor and Ace talk, and to summarize, Ace just wonders if he sent the wrong person home. He's not feeling confident that Chelley is all about him. And I'm just like,
She's not.
yes. But also like, what you it's like I picked her so she owes me. I saved her so
Yeah.
she has to like me. And I don't like that energy. Again, Ace is like, okay, so you police everybody in the villa, and if somebody who you're in a relationship with or a situationship, I'll just call it like that, if they don't act the way you want them to act, it's a problem. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like
He likes
I
to have
don't really like that.
control.
He does. So he's just saying that he's not feeling confident in Chelley. Um, and like she feels a way about the challenge. He feels a way about her getting to know somebody else. But you brought your outside relationship into the challenge, and we're just going in circles. So I kind of get what he's saying. Like you can't ask me for boundaries if you're gonna like be exploring somebody. But she's like, you've been. I want her to tell him like you've been exploring this whole time. You picked Amaya. You didn't pick me. So you
Yeah.
can't get mad at my choice right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't really say that.
No, they're like, they're just not arguing well. And they're
They're
just like
not.
missing each other.
Yeah. In his confessional, he's like, I'm not enough for Chelley.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know how you got there. I'm putting effort in and not getting anything back. And he's like, moving forward, he doesn't know what to do.
Mm.
Whatever. Elan and Brian talk. Elan said that in his last chat with Cierra, he told her his intention was on her, and that but they haven't talked since then. So he's like, He should go off of their last conversation and move accordingly. And Brian's like, to be honest, bro, she's on a date. You're probably the last thing she's thinking
He's
about. And I
keeping
was
it
like,
real. He's like, I don't think she's thinking about you.
we all need a friend like Brian to just keep it a buck
Mm-hmm.
with us.
Yes.
Um, and Elin in his confessional is like, I was ghosted in real life. It feels like a loss. And Brian's like, I don't know what to put, or I don't know. I don't want you to put your energy into something when it's like clearly over. And Elan's like, I know. And as he starts to talk, Nick and Cierra come back glowing from their wonderful date. Literally, right, like Elan and Brian are sitting at the entrance of the villa and they're just seeing all of this.
They're fresh off their bikes.
And I kind of saw like Nick was like, "Hey," because he saw those are the first two guys that he saw, but like he only hugged Brian, and then
Yeah.
Elan just kind of like follows behind them, and I'm like, "Oh."
This is awkward.
So the girls chat and the boys chat, and Sierra, it's all she's like, oh, she's so giggly and so happy, and she recaps like that they had the deepest conversation, and he made it clear that she's the one for him. The boys are chatting. Nick says that they enjoyed the date. It was really intimate. They recapped everything and all their feelings, and they're closed off. The guys go
They
crazy.
do.
They go insane. And so the guys are going insane, and Sierra's like, so we closed off. And she tells them, so everybody's going crazy. And they're like, look how big his smile is over there. And the guys are just like going insane. And Ace in his confessional says he wish it was him.
Well, guess what? It isn't.
To you, Bucko. Girls
uh,
like it when you say no, right?
mm,
Uh,
uh,
Elan and Amaya chat, and he said that he wanted to get to know her. And she talks a little bit about her background. She's really big on her family, and like she really likes the moon because it reminds her that like when she sees it, that her family can see the moon too. So
mm.
even if they're not together, they're still together. And I'm like, Amaya has a literal heart of gold.
She does. She's just
Maybe
too sweet.
she's too sweet for all of you. Maybe she should have
Mm-hmm.
been with Jalen because they get similar. Like he's like he also had a really
Oh
big heart. I
yeah,
felt like maybe it would have been
he
cute.
did. That
They were
actually, they would have been cute together.
yeah. I was like
Mm,
maybe it wasn't for Olandria. It was for Amaya.
gone too soon.
Too soon. And then he talked about his family. One of his siblings moved away to Belgium, and she's like, "Is that in Brussels or is that in Germany?" And he's like, no, Belgium, something. I don't know. And she's like, the waffles. And I was like, this is so cute. I love you, Amaya. I love you so
Uh,
much. She's like,
she's the
oh,
best.
sorry, not Germany. I was like, you are the little cutest. I
Uh,
cannot wait for her to leave so like she could see how much we love her.
I know,
They did
right?
like a campaign to get her to 1 million followers on Instagram and TikTok.
Yes, I think she got to it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And they're like, Sierra's losing followers and
Oh,
Amaya is gaining followers.
Sierra's like losing a lot. She lost like 200K. I'm like, that's
Crazy.
crazy.
People don't play around.
They do not.
Anyway, I did follow Amaya on TikTok. I'll have to do it on Instagram. Um,
Mm.
Everybody gets ready for the evening. Sierra's like, I don't want to put on makeup tonight. And the girls are like, you don't have to. And Elan's like, oh, I can move on now, knowing that, they're closed off. Zach says it's getting sour with Amaya with no context. And I was like, okay, what the fuck?
Right.
And then Amaya says she wishes Zach was more of a gentleman. It kind of makes her want to explore more. So Andreina and PePe chat. And she said she didn't talk to Brian today and it kind of feels weird. Maybe he feels away after the challenge, but she's not really sure about him anymore. And he asks, like, did you talk today? And she's like, I haven't talked and I pulled you instead of him. So it's probably making it worse. But I wanted to let you know, like, I wanted to see how you were feeling and wanted to let you know, like, or kind of touch base and see if you wanted to explore this connection.
Hmm.
And PePe is basically like, respectfully, no.
Right. He shut it down quick. I was like, really?
Not even like, you're not even going to play along for a second. He's like,
I
you're
know.
amazing. I want to see it through with Grayson. And she says she understands, but in her confessional, she says she's never been friend zoned before. I was kind of surprised by this.
I was too, because he did seem interested in Andreina when she first came. Like he was excited she spoke Spanish and all of this. And but now I think it truly is because it's something we learned in episode 26.
Yeah.
But I was shocked that I mean it was respectable that he was honest.
Yeah, I appreciated his honesty. I was just surprised that he wasn't
Yeah,
interested at all.
same.
She was like, I've never been friend zoned. And I was like, I've never thought that you would ever be friend zoned.
Right.
So Zach and Olandria talk. And he says that he was nervous trying to talk to her. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah, you told me like not to talk to you the last time I tried to talk to you. And I was like, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, save your words.
Save your words. um, and so they sit and they talk. And she said, I just had too much going on. That's why I said that. But I don't know how to feel about Taylor. And he asks and he's like, do you feel like are you wondering like what did I do wrong? And she's like, I know I didn't do anything wrong. Like as a woman, sometimes you think you're doing everything right, but a man is just not fulfilled. And she's like, it's okay. I'm just going to keep exploring. And he says the convo that they had, he really liked it. It was very deep. And he kind of kept his distance from Amaya so he could think straight today. Hopefully tomorrow he feels different. But he says past relationships didn't work for him because he'd be out with this person and maybe there's some beef and she would just bring it up in front of everybody and kind of make a scene.
Oh.
And Olandria's like, oh, yeah, I would never do that. And Zach is like, he likes to talk to her. She's very smart and beautiful. And Olandria's like, yeah, let's keep talking. And he's like, I even enjoyed kissing you during the challenge. And she was like, yeah, I was surprised by that. And so they kind of talk a little bit. And I was like, okay, Zach, this is interesting.
Right.
We'll pin this for later.
Yeah.
Clark and Taylor chat. She asks, like, how do you think I should feel after the challenge? And Taylor's like, do you think, like, a line was crossed? And she's like, well, answer my question first. And he's like, yeah, I do think you should feel away. And she's like, why? And he's like, she didn't have to take me to the heart at the end. That was disrespectful to you. And Clark says you weren't initiating anything, so it's okay. And I was like, so why are we talking about it?
What's the point of this?
What's the point? I guess just to make sure that he thought it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Could just asked him. But anyway, Taylor says he recaps his chat that he had with Olandria. And he like told Olandria that like it just feels different with Clark. He kind of has like a kid feeling, and it's a very chill vibe with her. And Clark says she feels like she's like a little awkward in this like love triangle, but she doesn't want to call it a love triangle. So they're fine. Chelley and Cierra chat, and Chelley says she's frustrated with Ace. They need to put conversations on hold right now. She needs to talk to nobody right now because she's like still really upset. And she is curious to see what Huda will say. Like they can be cordial, but she doesn't see them being friends. She's like she's starting to understand what kind of friends that she wants to have. And Sierra's like, you don't have to talk to anybody or give your energy to anyone. Distance is okay. It's healthy. And Chelley in her confessional says she needs a Zen moment. She doesn't have the energy to chat with anybody. And she's given Huda too many chances. That girl is not her friend.
Oh.
And I was like, damn. Huda had to do something else. It can't just be this, but maybe it is.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just kind of like because I understand her saying like maybe we're just not meant to be friends. Like I think that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
But I think I would have rather had you just stayed ignoring her instead of what we get in episode 26.
100%. 100%. Because it's like, yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. The last chat of the day is Chris and Huda.
Hmm.
She asks about Chelley. Like, how are you feeling about Chelley? And he shakes his head and he's like, I'm taking a step back. He likes Huda. And she's surprised. And he said he wasn't raised to chase people forever. And if energy isn't reciprocated, he wants to explore and see where it goes. She hugs him and they cuddle. And she says she's cold. He offers her his shirt. She doesn't accept it at first. And then he's like, just take it. I'm giving it to you. And he's like you don't let people like take care of you. And she says she hasn't had a man do that for her before. And he's like, how do you expect to find a husband acting like that? And she says she will learn. So she says she has a hard time being vulnerable and she's afraid of being abandoned. She asks if he has ever cheated. This conversation goes everywhere.
It
I think it's
does.
very long. They're probably there for hours. She asks because he says he has cheated, but it was just emotionally. And Huda in her confessional is like, Chris is very mature and she likes the pace that they're going. Then she asks later his type. He says he doesn't have one, but he attracts emotionally unstable women. Women. And she's like, am I emotionally unstable? And he's like, I don't know yet. And they kind of laugh. And they both say, like, they both kind of agree that she's not. And they cuddle more and they make out. And it was cute. They kind of have a spark there. There's a spark here.
They do. I'm into them as a couple, and like, I don't know. He seems to bring out kind of like a more real side of her, whereas like Jeremiah made her feel maybe more insecure and protective. I feel like she feels more like at peace with Chris.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like very, like, just like easy. Like, it's
Yeah.
really a very, like, simple connection they have. And his thing about Chelley and like not putting into energy into something that's not reciprocated, I understand that. I personally didn't see any non-reciprocation, but maybe he tried to talk to her or maybe he wants her to approach him. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But when he said that, I was like, all right, if that's how you feel,
Right.
that's how you feel.
Yeah, we didn't see much with him and Shelley except for like a few of their chats, but I guess it just kind of fizzled out.
Yeah. And
Uh,
like, so later when Shelly's mad, I was like, you like Chris like that? Because I
yeah,
personally didn't see you be so high on him. At least
right.
this 26. You did something during the challenge 25, but during 26 after it, you didn't really talk to him. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. There must be a lot happening that we don't see.
I wouldn't be surprised because there's like 20 people.
Hmm.
Okay, so last but not least, episode 26.
Ah, the icing on the
Um,
cake.
yes. It starts Nick and Cierra reminiscing about their date. They're like, "Oh, it's so nice." I forgot to mention because people pointed out in the last episode when she was like talking about like, "Oh, Nick wanted to close things off and do all this and be all this." It cuts to the date and she's the one saying all the things. He just sort of agrees. It was kind of
Oh,
like the Huda Jeremiah where she was like, "Oh yeah, I want to live with you," or he said he wanted to live with me, but in the
yeah.
date it's her saying it.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't even
so that
notice
was
that.
funny. Brian and Jaden chat. I thought it was so awkward, but she says this is making her more open to chatting with people.
I was like, I thought you were gonna say that this made you want to never talk to Brian again. The way that you were
Right.
acting, I was like, she's not feeling you.
But apparently, um, Huda tells Nick her side of the Shelley and Ace issue. Nick says the line was crossed, but he's here for her and doesn't want her to feel alone. So that's
Hmm.
nice. And Huda does feel like she did something wrong and she's
Yeah,
ready to own it.
I feel like she
So
was ready to own it from the moment it happened.
I know, right?
uh,
Um, Iris and TJ sleep outside.
yeah,
Sierra and Nick have sex again.
yeah.
I'm like, y'all
I was like,
relax.
I would hate to be in that room.
They love it. They're like, oh, the more the merrier. There's 20 people here.
Right,
Perfect.
right.
Uh,
And then Iris and TJ seemed like they were fooling around a little bit too.
yeah. At least they had the decency to go outside.
Yeah.
The next day, Sierra, Nick, Iris, and TJ have like this weird foursome going on where they kind of talk about the other couples. And I
Oh
didn't really
yeah.
like it.
Yeah. Just like, yeah, commenting on everybody.
Yeah.
Cause the girls made them breakfast and then they like all sit down.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I can't really even remember caring about anything they said.
It was just like, oh, this person's arguing with this person. Maybe this person will be okay. We're just in such solid couples. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay. Anyways.
Um, Amaya and Zach chat. She thinks he's prioritizing chatting with the guys instead of making connections. And she still just feels single and doesn't want to be the one always having to approach him. And he's saying they've had some miscommunications the last few days. And he tells us he's starting to build a connection back with Olandria.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that he'll make more of an effort and that he's sorry because Amaya starts to cry.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
At first, I kind of felt like he was being disrespectful when he was like, "You have legs too." I was like, "Oh
I
my
know,
gosh."
right?
There's a way to say things, you know? But then he
Hmm.
was sweet about it when she got upset. And I was like, are you only being sweet because she got upset?
Right. And I think Amaya's frustration is she just wants someone to like make an effort
Right.
and like really like show that they like her.
Right. Like, if I'm a couple with you and you don't talk to me all day, then just say you don't like me, you know? At that
Yeah.
point, like, it's clear you don't.
Mm-hmm. Huda tells Olandria and Andreina she kissed Chris in the speakeasy.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that, y'all. And
Mm-hmm.
she says he's sweet and she likes him.
Mm-hmm.
Clark says Taylor's holding her back from making connections, even though he's exploring some, and she's not used to being in a triangle. I'm like, well, who would you? You haven't really talked about anyone else you would want to talk to.
Right. And how is he holding you back?
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, I don't know. If he's
maybe
still
because,
exploring,
right. Like, maybe him making it seem like he likes you. Well, him liking you a lot, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Olandria says she likes getting to know Zach, but says Taylor's mind isn't made up yet and he's still her strongest connection. Olandria.
Please, girl.
His mind was made up. He
It
wrote it
was.
down on that board.
Mm-hmm.
Now look, I love Olandria. And I understand, being told something and then someone doing something else. But I was listening to some podcasts and they made the great point. You have to listen to his actions. Because,
Exactly.
like, take that for what it is. You're leaving the ball too much in his core or, like, trying to hold out hope for something. He's showing you that you're not a priority and that he doesn't like you
100%.
like that. So you have to, like, listen to that. You don't need him to say it. He's showing you.
Exactly.
Mm,
Exactly. I was like, yeah, I don't understand how she's still saying things like that.
right. And while she's saying things like that, Taylor is saying Clark brought out his soft boy era. And he doesn't know how to navigate the Olandria situation. Just be honest. Again, we'll say it again.
Yeah, it's Taylor really confuses me and how he can be like direct but indirect at the same time. Because you telling her you still want to explore, it's kind of giving her hope. You
Yeah,
clearly don't want to, so just say that.
right. Meanwhile, Grayson feels like PePe is pulling back. And while she's saying that, PePe is saying he hasn't felt a spark yet with Grayson.
Which is
Literally,
crazy.
all these couples are like falling apart. In this episode, they were
Literally,
like, no, no more couples.
you told Andreina no, I want to see it through with Grayson, talking about she's boring. What? Where did that come
Right.
from? If you didn't like Andreina, just say that. Like
Yeah. He still hung up on someone else.
hmm
Um, Austin gets a text that the villa is going to have a game called Stand on Business, and it's time to let everyone know how you feel. Then Iris gets a text that they'll receive blank postcards, and they have to write how they feel about someone, and they can sign their name on it, or they can do it anonymously.
hmm
And it shows a little bit of people kind of talking about what they potentially may write. Cierra and Olandria tell Chelley she needs to address some of the Huda drama,
hmm
which I get they have to, but Taylor wants to ask Ace about him and Chelley. Olandria is going to ask Taylor about how his actions don't match his words. And Huda says she's about to have the biggest stack of cards.
Yeah, she already knows it.
Hmm. And so we get to the challenge. And first up's Austin. And he got an anonymous one saying that they don't understand how he's still here and that he doesn't give any girl effort. Andreina says it was her. And
hmm
she's basically like with the Ace and Chelley situation. Ace was really putting forth effort and you weren't really at all. And we clocked that.
Yeah, we did. Andreina
So,
wasn't even there and she clocked it.
right. And meanwhile, he's just like, yeah, I don't really understand why I'm here either. And it's like, glad we're all on the same page. Um, Sierra's up. She gets the first question about like her and Nick, like, oh, we can hear you guys having sex and everything.
Yes.
But then the other one, PePe, asked Sierra, Chelley, and Olandria, why did y'all get rid of Hannah? That made no sense. Like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And
Valid question.
right. And Sierra says, well, Hannah had made many great connections, and
Two
Iris was
great
just building
connections.
one with TJ. Amaya hadn't gotten that chance. And we just felt as though we wanted to give them the opportunities Hannah had. And, with you, like, you wouldn't have met Grayson had we not done that. And it's like, that's why he's asking this,
Right.
because now he's with Grayson when he
Right.
wants to be with Hannah.
Right.
Like,
And to vote someone off because they had a good experience and it's time to go is kind of crazy. Like she had
no.
her fun, she made great connections, so she should leave. It's like, wait,
Right. Hannah was doing this Love Island the most right. Low
literally.
key.
If you like Iris and Amaya more, just say that. That would make more
Yeah.
sense to me. Or I wanted to give Amaya and Iris a chance. That makes more sense than you being like, Hannah had two great connections and she got to build. And it was such a great experience. And how
Yeah.
she's saying it, I'm just like, what are you doing, Sierra?
Right. And it's just like I watched the season 6 reunion while I was working today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because it's when they show the full like 10-minute conversation when they were deciding to send Andrea home. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, damn, I forgot they showed this all unedited and it's so long. Like, why did they do this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because the internet asked for it and then
We
complained
asked.
when they got it.
Yep.
Um, but with them, it was funny because the other Islanders, like, what's his name? Aaron, he thought it should have been Janae
Yeah.
and everything. And in the deliberation, it was immediately off the bat like, Janae's not going anywhere. That's our sister. Like, she's
Right.
not. Like, period.
Right.
And they owned
Yeah.
it. They're like, Janae
Yeah.
was never going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then their thing with Andrea was just like she was closed off. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's almost as if they try to use that same with Hannah, but the thing is Hannah wasn't closed off.
Right, yeah, because they were like, as she got to know PePe, she was really stuck on PePe, and I'm like, but Sierra, you love Nick, like
Yeah.
use the same logic. So she can't be stuck on somebody, but you're allowed to. That
Yeah.
also threw me off. I was like, you guys,
Olandria,
like,
you're stuck on someone that doesn't even like you.
right, and Chelley pretends she doesn't like Ace, but she does.
Yeah.
So like, using that logic doesn't make sense either.
Mm-mm. I
Mm-mm.
don't get it. But, so then Sierra does ask Pepe though, who should have went home instead, and he says he'd have to talk to the guys. And she says, "Well, that's unfair." And I low-key kind of agreed with her because it's like, okay,
Yeah.
if you're gonna ask me why we didn't send someone home, then you need to tell me who you would have sent home.
Right, right. I thought that was fair too.
Yeah, because also it is a rough decision regardless. So like no one wants to send anyone home, but their
Mm-mm.
logic didn't make sense.
Mm-mm.
So like again, like we said, like it would have just made more sense had you been like, we like Iris and Amaya more, so
Yeah.
sorry. But and then that's all I had for my notes
Oh,
with
well, I also thought it was interesting because, wait, did the Grayson thing come up on Pepe's turn?
yes.
Oh, okay, okay. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know why I thought now. Yes, okay. So it's Amaya's turn.
Mm.
And I'll just say that this pissed me off.
Right.
This was rough.
This was terrible.
So the first one she got was she swears she doesn't snore, but she really does. It was from
Mm-hmm.
Chris, and they kind of joke, and she's
That
like, "Oh
was
my
funny.
gosh, I'm not snoring, I'm just singing." Somebody says, "You cry more than needed, and you move too fast for everyone." And she starts to tear up. She's like, "God forbid I'm a sensitive gangster." The girls are like, "Don't cry, girl, you're okay." And she says it's a strength for her, like the way that she is. And if you view it like that, then I'm just not your cup of tea. Austin says he wrote it, and he's like, it did come off harsh, but when we were coupled, the intensity of your emotions and your wants built way up. And she says that she just expresses herself the way she wants, and people view that as a negative. Ace goes, hold on.
He's like, no, wait a minute.
He brings up the babe thing 100 years ago.
Mm.
She was strong off rip and he wanted to slow down. And he says she should meet people where they are and where they're comfortable in the middle. And she cries more and she's just like, look, I'm a book and that not everyone should read. She's really trying to just take it on the chin and keep going.
Right.
Brian chimes in. He's like, but like, also though, she's Hispanic and they're very affectionate with words, saying like mi amor, mi vida, like that's how she talks. So if you want her to meet you halfway, you should meet her halfway too. And Ace is like, I did.
No, you didn't.
When?
When?
You did not fucking meet her halfway. You didn't.
No.
Even when she called you babe on accident, that would have been the perfect time for him to just be like, okay, I see it. And he was still
Yeah.
like, see, you're doing it again. And it's like, okay, Ace, you did not try to meet her anywhere.
No, you couldn't control the situation, so you got upset by it.
Exactly.
Because lest we forget, the second y'all got coupled up, you were just like, yeah, so don't touch me and we're not gonna cuddle. And like, yeah, we can't do any of this.
Literally, he was low key so mean to her, but swears that he was right. So, with tears streaming down her face, Amaya goes, thank you for your thoughts. And here comes fucking Zach from the back of the
Oh
class.
my God.
He starts mumbling some shit about needing to take a step back from her sometimes. And she does not have it. She's like, you could have said that to me earlier, but you choose it to do it here in front of 20 people. And he's like, he starts to talk and she's like, look, I don't want to talk to you anymore. She's like, I don't care. Don't talk to me. And Taylor kind of like pushes him back so he could like chill out a little bit. And he stops. She's like, she says, stop. It's like you're playing ping pong, like, stop. And he tries to chime in again. And Chelley is like, she doesn't want to talk to you right now.
Right.
Like, what the fuck, Zach? But I really felt like I don't know. Everybody just wanted to dogpile. They're like, since we're talking about Amaya, I have something
Right.
to say. It's like, put it on the card or don't even talk. Like, Austin had something to say. Ace and Zach did not need to say shit to her.
No, and she made the great point of, like you said, we were talking earlier and like you didn't
Yeah.
say all of this. So
And he
like,
claims
why
he
now?
did. They're lying in this too. Ace is
Mm-hmm.
like, I did. No, you didn't. Zach says the same thing. When? You didn't fucking say that.
Mm-mm.
And she asked you guys. She asked Austin, am I too blah 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 blah? No, I'm just getting used to you. Zach, am I too blah blah blah? No, I'm like that too. Blah blah blah. Like you guys flat out lied to her. And
Yeah,
then you're gonna act like this in front of a group of people? Like that's so mean and it's embarrassing for her.
it is.
So she says she needs a break. And Cierra and Ace chase her. And I'm
Yeah.
like, so Ace, you like to beat people up and then go check that they're okay?
Take
And
them to
Zach,
the nurse's office.
right. Zach is like, Ace, bro, Ace, sit down. And I'm like, yeah, because Zach should be the one who's walking to go check on her, not you.
Mm-hmm.
And so he does. So Sierra and Huda go, and she is weeping in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Sierra hugs her. Zach at the fire pit is still yapping, flapping his gums. He's like, I don't even know her second name. Fuck you.
Did
Anyway,
you ask?
I don't. Her name is Amaya Papaya. We don't need to know all
And
the
that's all you need
details.
to know.
Exactly. Sierra comforts her, and she's like, he's a chump. Don't let them tell you how you need to be. Hood is there too. And they're like, people can see her and love her for who she is. And I was like, I don't know if you got the inside soup, Sierra, but you're 100% right. We do love her and see her just as she is. But they all wanted to just bully Amaya for some reason. She goes
Yeah.
back to the circle, and then it's Pepe's turn. But I was just like, this is crazy.
It was. I'm like, why? And a lot of people online were pointing out how like what was it? They're just like no one's like defending Amaya. Like all these men
Yeah.
are like yelling at her and no one's defending her at all.
Yeah, and it's yeah. And at first I was like, well, they didn't really defend other people, but they did later. So they could have
Mm-hmm.
stood up for her there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know why you guys want to dogpile on this girl because she's not doing anything malicious. She's being herself, and you're taking it like personally, and it's just like it's not fair.
Yeah.
I just felt for her because I didn't watch it in real time, but on Wednesday morning I opened my phone and I was like, "What did they do to?" It was literally just Amaya. Brian defends Amaya. Like that's all I
Mm-hmm.
saw on TikTok, and I was like, people were more. I didn't see any clips about anything else. Just
No.
this. People were really mad about this specifically. I was like, "Dang, what did they do to my girl?"
Meg the Stallion even posted like a picture of Amaya on her Instagram story.
Yeah, they were like all of the conversations tonight. It's Amaya that needs justice.
Yeah.
Um, so it's PePe's turn, and they say, "Have you been playing it safe since Hannah? We know you don't like Grayson." And everybody's like, "All right, who said it? Who said it? Because we know you don't like Grayson." It's kind of crazy.
I think PePe wrote it.
Yeah, because nobody owns up to it,
And then
right?
he immediately is just like, yeah, so anyways, the thing is,
Yeah. He was like, I was trying my best to explore Grayson, but it was hard having Hannah taken away from me. And Grace is like, it's frustrating for me too. And he says he can't do anything about that. And she or he she asks like, what are you doing to still make it relevant? Because people recouple all the time and I'm genuinely here looking for love. And she thought it was possible with him. But if he's still stuck on Hannah, then I guess it's not. Maybe she should get to know other people. And
hmm
he says he's trying to move as respectfully as possible and he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. So he sits down.
he's like, I have nothing left to say.
Yeah, so he sits down and he's like, it's all right. And she's like, for who? And he's like, there's no reason to keep talking it out. And he says he's sorry. And she's just like, it's about your past, but I just got here. So I kind of felt for Grayson, like, we're having an open discussion about something that pertains to her, but you're just like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's all good. It's cool. And it's like, you told Andreina you wanted to see it through with Grayson, but I guess you just lied.
Yeah. You just really like Hannah still and are still stuck on that, which I get.
I get,
And Hannah's posting on TikTok. She's like, I thought I was okay. And then I just watched episode 26. And I'm like,
yeah,
I hope they have a good future outside the villa. They could have won this thing.
they could have. Charlie who?
I know, right?
It's her and PePe all the way.
Oh.
It's Ace's turn.
I was listening to Bitches Better, and Raven pointed out that Ace just looked pissed the entire challenge.
He's like, I'm not mad, but his eyes are big. He's like pointing and shit. He looks
hmm
pissed off.
He
Yes.
does.
His first note was, if y'all are so strong, why haven't you closed things off? And Amaya's like, I wrote that. And he says that she is exploring with someone else, and he's not going to force someone to close off if they don't want to. Austin wrote, people have sucked up to you and what you say. The Ace posse doesn't go against you. Jeremiah was damned if he did and damned if he didn't. And he's like, I'm gonna reply, but Austin, I want to know what you mean by that. I'm like,
I
yo,
would have been like, what I wrote is what I meant.
because he basically repeats it. He's like, you guys gave Jeremiah a lot of shit, and you are a strong leader, and nobody goes against what you say. That's why I felt like Jeremiah was damned either way. And he's like, Andreina, do you feel like Jeremiah was coming on to you strong? Yes. Okay, so that's my point. He's love bombing.
I'm like, I don't know if that's love bombing, but okay.
Right,
Also,
like
she liked him too.
she did. So I'm just like, okay. He's like, that's my point with the whole love bombing thing, like where he saw that since day one, just because he has the balls, or that's what he meant by the whole love bombing thing, and that's what Jeremiah was doing since day one. And then he says, just because he has the balls to say that doesn't mean he's a hater. One of us is 6'5", and one of us is 5'10", and one has the balls to say some shit around here because he has heart, and Austin doesn't.
The internet asked who's 5'10".
Yeah, be you with your legs swinging off every chair you sit on.
You constantly look like you're in the swing.
Like I think you and Chelley are about the same height.
Right, and I don't think
I
Shelley's
don't
5'10".
think she's 5'10". He's like, when it comes to Amaya, you tell us one thing and you never told her the same story. And he says that it was pretty clear how he felt and she didn't understand it. And Amaya agrees that she didn't understand it. So he's like, so again, I'm going to speak my mind because I'm a leader. And if I stand for something, I'm going to say it up front and I don't care who likes it or not. You're mad that people agree with how I feel. That's not on me. That's a you problem. Austin tries to talk and Ace cuts him off. He says, are you going to let me speak? You shy away from saying how you feel. I don't. You were never honest with Amaya. And Austin's like, but I still told you that there were sides of her that I liked. So he doesn't acknowledge anything. He's like, I
No.
told you I liked her a little bit sometimes.
Right. There were certain attributes.
And Ace is like, but it was more negative than positive. Like, and Amaya just shakes her head. And Austin says he didn't want to come off like that. And Amaya cuts in. Okay, so for this part, because Ace continues to go, but for this part, I was just like, you're a leader of what?
Right. Like,
You speak your mind, and that makes you a leader? It kind of makes you an asshole. Like, have you ever heard, like, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it? Like, you're
yeah.
kind of a bully. Like, this isn't a business or an organization that needs to be run.
Oh
Like,
my my stupid camera. Sorry, y'all. My camera keeps cutting, and I'm not cutting this out.
LOL. But I
Okay,
was
we're
just like, a
back.
leader of what? Like, it makes you a leader because you're mean and you say what's on your mind, even if it's mean. Like, I was just like, you're really full of yourself.
He is, and also it's just like he's not really addressing Austin's question or statement, and then
True.
Austin's too stupid to circle back with it as well. So he just deflects it to Amaya.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Ace, we know you like to think you're a leader. If anything, you're kind of just proving his point by saying that because he's saying everyone follows you, and then you just call yourself a leader. And
He's
why are
like,
you
they do
bringing
follow
up
me because I'm
height?
right.
Why are you bringing up height?
That's true too. No, you were trying to like dig at Austin. Like you were trying to like throw shade at him. And nobody believes you're 5'10". He's like, since somebody is 6'7" in here, I want everyone to know that I am 5'10".
Even
Like,
though you may be above 6 feet, just know that I am 5'10".
and you don't have the balls to do what I do because I'm a leader and I'm strong. And I'm just
You're
like, yeah.
voting on Love Island, bitch. Shut up. Like, what are we talking
Literally.
about?
I'm
Like,
like, this is a show where there are people's feelings. Who needs to lead shit here?
he's
What
like,
is there
I'm
to
brave
lead?
even though I'm not the tallest. Like, okay.
So Maya chimes in and she tells Austin, look, it doesn't matter. And Austin's like, hang on, this is not your conversation, Amaya. And Maya's like, I know, but like we all have the right to share their input, and you keep focusing on people who went home. Like, why does that matter? And Austin says it was his chance to air stuff out. Do you understand what that is, Amaya? And Amaya's like, all right, you don't have to interpret it for me. And he's like, okay, but it doesn't seem like you do understand. And Amaya's like, I do understand, and you don't have to be disrespectful like that. There are a lot of colors that I didn't see before that you're showing tonight. And Austin's just like, okay. And Amaya's like, I'm glad we had this challenge because you never said any of these things to my face. And Austin says he didn't want this reaction from her. And Amaya's like, what reaction? You're the one with the veins popping out of your neck right now. And she asked the girls, like, am I bugging? And Olandria'a and Chelley are like, no. And I was
Yeah.
just like, this is what we were talking about before.
Yes. Austin, fuck you too and your microaggressions. Do you understand like what that means? Bitch, do you understand that you're a punk ass bitch? Do you understand
100%.
that? I don't think you
Mm-hmm.
do. And I'm sure Amaya is very educated and understands things. Don't try her like that.
I hated how he spoke to her,
Mm,
and I'm glad that she called him out on it. But again,
right.
it's like you're comfortable yelling at a woman, but Ace has been yelling at you for like 5 minutes.
Right. Also, you're talking about Amaya, so she should be jumping in.
Exactly. Oh, this isn't about you, Amaya. Literally, you're speaking about me. Maybe he's
Right.
referring to how he was bringing up Jeremiah, but still, like, she's a part of the conversation. Like, you can't
Yeah.
just put her out and then say, oh, I didn't want this reaction. After you're disrespectful to someone, they can react. The fuck?
Yeah. He's so stupid. What a Karen.
He is. He is.
Oh, I didn't want this reaction. You're giving white woman scared. Stop.
100%.
Ugh.
100%. Uh, so Chelley goes. Ace was done with his sermon. He sits
Mhm.
down. He sits down really hard. He was pissed.
He was so upset.
He plops down right next to Chelley. And Austin kind of looked embarrassed, as he should.
Yeah.
And it's ironic though, because Austin is right. Like, Yeah, Ace is a
His
ringleader.
right, his statement wasn't wrong. That's the crazy part. But it went
Right.
so like left that
Hmm.
like literally again everyone was wrong except for Amaya.
Basically, like you didn't even really defend yourself. Like we do agree with you, but not really. I don't know.
Yeah.
We agree with you. We don't like you very much. And
And goodbye.
yeah, yeah, that part. So Chelley goes, and she has a few. The first is from Ace, which I think is crazy. You like this girl, you have things you want to bring up to her, and you choose to do it in a challenge in front of 20 people?
That is wild.
That's great conflict resolution skills and great communication skills. Like, this is actually like a serious issue you're having with her, and you
Hmm.
chose to write it down for this challenge. Cool.
Yeah, because she didn't write a question for him.
No. He writes, I don't understand why you want to set boundaries for both of us, but you want to continue exploring things with other people. From Ace. She goes, if anything, you initiated that the whole exploring thing, so I'm still exploring. And he says, that's not the problem. The problem is that you were trying to put a boundary on me while you're exploring. I don't get that. And she says the thing about boundaries and like she just wants to make them comfortable. But she said, "Did I not tell you that like I want to be open and now that I'm doing it, it's a problem?" And he asks, "Can someone explain this to me? Like why am I not understanding?" And she kind of says the same thing. And I'm just like, "This is also awful." Like
Yeah, I
you
get
have to
confused. I'm like, I feel like y'all are just throwing things at the wall.
You are. And like to bring this would not make me feel good if I was your person that you're bringing other people in and being like, I don't understand. Like
Yeah,
maybe tell Chelley you don't understand and try to keep talking about it.
right.
So Cierra chimes in and she says in the challenge there were no boundaries. But when she tells you in our connection, like focusing on this right now, I want to put a boundary there. That means to me that she believes in your relationship so much that she wants to build on it. And there are a lot of makeouts during challenge, but in that specific challenge, in the heart rate challenge, you got to decide who you wanted to do things with. And he says he understands that, but what does he look like dialing it back when she is exploring? And she just kind of moves to the next one. So they still
He's
don't
like, I'm
agree.
done.
I think Ace just wants people to agree with him.
I think so too. And I think like he just wants to people to agree with him. Um, I don't know. I feel like again, she just doesn't want to acknowledge that she went for Chris twice.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's the main issue. It's like you went back to Chris. He's upset you made out with him twice. You could just be like, you made out with 10 people. You know? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
that's really the issue, but they're talking about something. Maybe. I thought that was the issue, but they're talking about something completely different.
I think he just didn't make her feel secure from the start because he
Hmm.
kept wanting to explore and everything.
Yeah.
And so she's just like not as invested and maybe just finding things or was finding stuff with Chris, as we'll see. It doesn't seem to be anymore. Uh,
100%.
but
Yeah.
like, and so he just always thought that she would be there,
Hmm.
but now she's not, and she has resentment.
Hmm.
And they don't know how to navigate that, and I think maybe it also like piles on because maybe they did date a little more than they let on beforehand. I don't think they had a kid and were dating for 2 years like someone was trying to say, but maybe they did go on a few dates.
I wouldn't be surprised at that either. But yeah, I think for Chelley, it's really the double standard. You got to explore with everybody, and I was cool with it, and now I'm exploring, and you're mad. I wish you would just say that.
Hmm.
Um, this one is so she gets another one. It's to Chelley and Chris. Why haven't you talked since Casa? And PePe wrote it, and she said that intentions were set that haven't been followed through. And he asks, "What intentions?" And she says he has just been avoiding no eye contact, no conversation, nothing like that. And so when she doesn't see that, she doesn't want to waste her time and ruin what she has based on words. And he's like, I don't have anything else to say. I think he was upset by it.
Hmm.
And then I'm like, so you and Ace are arguing over something that's not happening then.
Right. Like,
He's mad you're exploring Chris, and she basically is saying here Chris is not exploring her, and so she's kind of done with Chris.
yeah. And I think this other podcast pointed this out. I think it was Samantha Bush chronically online. She was like, what is Shelley expecting people to like do?
Yeah,
Like, like he like spoke to you, he like made breakfast, he was nice. Like, what more did you want Chris to do to where it was just because even with like the Austin and Ace thing, it was kind of like she wanted like I don't know. It was just it's she wants a lot of effort given to her, but she doesn't give much effort, which I get to an extent.
yeah,
But then I'm also like, I don't know, Shelly. Like, did you really try with Chris? Like,
yeah,
probably
that's true.
not. So like, who cares? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that's valid because it would be different if she was like, "You haven't talked to me all day." Maybe that's what she was saying.
Hmm.
But he did. You're right. He did. We did see him make small efforts. Um, yeah. I guess I wish she was a little more specific. She said avoiding eye contact. I don't know. I kind of
Right.
also wish Chris would just be like, actually, I really like Huda, so I'm good off of you.
Right.
You know, and that
Just
would
keep
make
it
things
real.
much easier. Yeah, she doesn't know that. So I guess she's upset about it. I don't know.
Mm.
Because it keeps going. The next card. Do you remember saying it's just a challenge? You and Ace are still open. She goes, who wrote this? I think Huda did. Or no, Huda did do it. She goes, when me and Jeremiah were together, you would always say, relax. It's just a challenge. Relax. And Chelley says, when that was happening, the only time I said that was when the bombshells were coming in and you wanted to tweak on them and be furious for no reason. She says that, or Chelley says that she was not respected and she feels like she gives her a lot of grace for stuff. So she's trying to hear her out, but she doesn't. And it's starting to aggravate her. And Huda's like, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done it. I hate that I upset you. All I can say is I'm sorry. You know, a challenge doesn't compare to our friendship. And she asks for forgiveness. But if Chelley doesn't want to, that's okay too. And Chelley just finishes with her questions after that. And I was just
Hmm.
like, damn,
I
y'all
know,
don't like
right?
each other. At this point, I was just like, oh shit. Like, this is some heavy shit.
Yeah. Shelly's just over Huda. And I'm like, okay, well, you could have she did apologize. Like,
She did. And
you
you
could
could
just
just like,
accept it and be like, look, I'm not saying we're cool, but like I accept it and I appreciate that. We'll talk more later.
right. And this whole time, I'm thinking about it that it's about the challenge, and later we find out it's not.
Oh my God.
So Huda goes. The first one says Hannah was robbed of her Love Island experience twice, while you should have been dumped. From Nick.
Damn, Nick.
I was like, y'all were just talking earlier, and I think you said, and I quote, "I've got your back."
Yeah. So for you to say this, I'm like, did a producer make you do this? Like, what are we doing?
Literally. And he's just like, it's not a surprise to you. I voted for you twice. You got a lot of opportunities while someone else had something great and had to leave. And Huda just says she made mistakes. That's life, but she did take a advantage of Casa to the fullest, and everybody agrees. And this is again where I'm like, y'all are mad at her for being closed off with Jeremiah, like really close to Jeremiah, as if it's not allowed. Like, are we
Yeah.
not here to find like a close connection? So everybody's like, yeah, she did great in Casa, and I'm like, their relationship was toxic, but how they moved and like wanting to be together was not wrong.
Yeah.
The next card. Do you think you've been following girl code when it comes to Chris and Chelley? Are you a girl's girl? She said, this is Love Island. No one owns anyone, especially if you're open. That's all. She closed that book quick.
Hmm.
To Huda from Chelley. If you're going to preach about being a girl's girl, you should practice what you preach. You say your intentions are in your friend's best interest, but they're actually selfish. And I wish you would stand on that. So Huda's like, is this about Chris? And Chelley is like, it's about a lot of things that we already talked about, but the girl code stuff, you did not stand on it when it comes to me. And then she's like, what was the second thing I said? And she reads the bit about loyalty. And she's like, that goes back to Jeremiah. Like, you wanted loyalty and respect then, but you didn't extend it when you had the chance. So for the Chris thing, you said it was a win-win situation, but it hasn't felt like that since you said it.
So are you
I was
mad that she actually went for Chris?
right. Like, did you think she was only bringing Chris for you?
Like she said they had a good connection, like before she brought him back. So like, why would you think she wouldn't try to pursue it?
And like, what do you want her to do? Tell Chris to pull you for chats? What does Huda have to do with your connection with Chris?
Right,
You
and you're
know?
supposed to have two connections and Huda has none?
Right.
Like, damn.
She's like, it's a win-win situation, but it hasn't felt like that. How? He's
He
there.
made you two pancakes.
He gave you flowers, bitch. You only got one pancake, no flour. Like,
Well, I got no
come
flowers.
on. Like, literally crazy. So Huda's like, I was interested in Chris, so I wasn't just bringing him back for me. It was for you too. And Chelly's like, you kept saying, I'm doing it for you because I know what you really want. But you don't know what I really want. You know what you want, and you want to make it feel like it's for me, and it's not for me. It's for you, so stand on that. So I'm like, so she doesn't know what you want, so you don't want Chris, is what you're implying then.
But you do want
But
it.
but that's what we're arguing about. I hate you guys.
I think what she's trying to say is Huda tries to act like she's a good friend, but really she's just in it for herself. And it's very
Mm,
self centered in the way she thinks and the way she acts, which isn't wrong.
yeah, I
Huda
could
really
see that.
centers herself in everything. It's just unfortunate because this situation, I don't think necessarily was completely that, whereas past situations were. So I don't know.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that they always argue about things that we've seen. So I wonder if production tells them like that bit wasn't discussed. I don't know. We don't do flashbacks in this show. So I'm
I
like,
know.
there's gotta, it makes me feel like there was something else because it doesn't really make sense. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, Huda says like, wait, Chelley just says I would have respected it more if you just came to me and you were honest about the Chris thing. And Huda's like, Chris, how many times have I told you to continue to pursue Chelley? And Chris is like, she has. And Huda continues and she's like, I haven't lied about that. The whole thing wasn't just for you. You can shake your head, but this is how I felt, and I know how I feel. Olandria chimes in. If you wanted her to continue to explore this connection and you valued sisterhood, I get that you don't kiss and tell, but do you mind telling the class? I was like,
And
are
it's like,
you?
Olandria,
I was
no.
like, are you fucking serious? This
Don't
can't.
do this, Olandria.
I was like, I don't know any of y'all because
Right. I'm like, damn. Like, really? No.
so it is like, what do you mean? And Olandria's like, that you kissed in the speakeasy. If you truly wanted her to explore this connection. And Chelley cut her off and she's like, to be honest, like I spoke to him and I said I don't care about their connection, so I don't care about that. And Huda's like, do I need to tell the whole class that I'm sorry? I told my girls that I trusted. Like I don't need to tell everybody this. And
Right.
Chris is like, yeah, that's nobody's business. And Olandria is like, I'm just saying, she keeps saying this is for Chelley and you respect sisterhood. Huda cuts her off and says, I can't kiss a guy that I like, God forbid. And Chris is like, it's not right to for you to air that out. That's nobody's business. And Olandria is just like, it's out now. And Chris is like, okay, and that's mad disrespectful. And Olandria is like, you keep saying this is for Chelley. And Huda says, Chelley and Ace kiss all the time. But they're still pursuing their connection. I can kiss people that I like. What the fuck? And they just show Chelley shaking her head and like Cierra smirking. I don't know if it was clipped or if this was this moment they were responding to, but it was crazy. And so Huda tells Olandria, when I tell you something, it's between you and I. And Olandria's like, I get that. But if you were going to keep pushing the sisterhood thing and you keep saying you did it for Chelley, you wouldn't move like that. And she was going to find out anyway. And
I
Huda says,
mean, true.
I guess so.
Not
Maybe at
wrong.
home, but fuck.
Yeah.
Huda's like, when I want to tell it, I can talk about it. It's not for you to tell somebody. That's not your place. So fuck this game. I'm not telling anyone anything anymore. And she sits down and Amaya just says, that's crazy. I don't think. I think that Olandria was projecting because Chelly said she didn't care. I think in Olandria's eyes, this is wrong, but
Mm,
it's really crazy that she brought this up at all. Like, Hood. So because she did it for sisterhood, that means that she wasn't gonna pursue Chris at all. She's on
yeah.
the Love Island too. What the fuck?
Right. I guess her thing, because people were pointing out, why would she say this after she made out with Nick and did all
True.
that? But I guess her thing is maybe it's different because she told Sierra and Huda didn't tell Shelly. But also, like, Huda and Shelly aren't really talking right now because they're fighting. So really, she doesn't owe Shelly an explanation for kissing a guy when Shelly's mad at her for grinding on another guy.
Right.
Shelly's like,
Right.
I have two guys I like, and you're making moves on both. And I'm like, I don't think she likes Ace like that, even though maybe Ace likes her like that.
Maybe. No, I think it's like I think she saw that Ace was enjoying it and Huda got his heart rate all the way up and that pissed her off
Hmm.
too. But I'm just like, this is like really this is just a lot. I just thought Elandria didn't really need to chime in. Even after and then like she doubled down on it. And I was just like, Elandria, this is not like you. Like
Yeah.
you think you're 100% right and I fully disagree. Huda is
Hmm.
allowed to explore. I guess she could have should have told Chelly, but like in her time, for you to bring it out in this moment and make things like a very heavy moment heavier is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so Chris goes, and it's from Cierra. Are your intentions with Huda genuine? And he's like, yes. I'm gonna answer the first part. I do fuck with her a lot more than, and I've told everyone in the villa that, and everybody agrees that that he did. And he kind of stopped himself. I was like, do you mean a lot more than Chelley? Because if you just said that, that would clear up a lot of things, but he doesn't.
Hmm.
The next part of the question, or do you just want a spot in the villa? And he's like, I can give less. I can give a fuck less. I would be overseas playing ball right now. Like, I don't need a spot in the villa.
Right. And Rich coming from you, Sierra, who is friends with past cast members and also had a Love Island themed birthday party.
LOL.
But okay.
It's who is it? Is it Sally? Who's her friend?
No, she's friends with this girl, Johnny, who I think was from season five, and then Cassie, who was also from season five,
Cassie.
but was a
Okay.
bombshell last season.
Okay. Yes, I remember that. And then it continues. He's like, okay, for the last part. For a man who knows what he wants, you seem to change your mind pretty quick. He said his plan was to explore with Shelly when she brought that to the table. Huda says like we expressed interest in each other before the recoupling. And Chris is like, yes, there's interest there. And Sierra's like, well, just say that more because it hasn't been said. I respect you coming in here and doing what you have done. And clearly you guys are getting on well, so I'll back off. To Chris from Chelley, the switch up is insane. If you just wanted to come to the villa, you could have said that. And again, I'm like, where the fuck is this coming from? I don't understand. So you acknowledge that he switched up, but then you say if he just wanted to come to the villa, like if you like you switched up, so you switched from me to Huda, right? But then if you just wanted to come to the villa, just say that, and it's like, did he?
Maybe he
He
just built a
picked
stronger connection with Huda.
right, like he picked Huda. How is that
Yeah.
him just wanting to come to the villa? I guess she's saying like, oh, you acted like you like me, now you're acting like you like Huda to stay in the villa. I don't know, man.
Hmm.
Um, but they continue to confuse me. So Shelly goes, you initially said that you came in here for me, but it doesn't feel like that. You're it feels like you're not going as hard as you made it seem like you would have. The switch up is crazy. And Chris is like, it's already been told I'm not here to play it safe. It's simple. And he
Hmm.
finishes up that way. And I'm like, okay. Chris is like, I'm not gonna argue with y'all.
Right.
I'm pursuing who I'm pursuing. Olandria goes, and she gets one from Clark. I know you think I'm just a test and that our connection is only physical, but it's way more than that. It's very
Congrats.
real.
Ugh.
When she said congrats, I was like, oh, shit. And then Clark goes on a soliloquy about how we had time to we had our time to chat. You said it was just a test, and that was off-putting to me. Casa is technically a test, but it is upsetting to feel like I am a test because I'm here to make a connection. I've learned a lot about myself since being here. I'm more physical than I thought I was, and it's really real for me. I'm not able to be physical with just anybody unless there's an emotional connection. And I thought Olandria would just like be like, fuck you, whatever. But she actually thanks Clark for saying that, and she thanks her for actually signing her name on the thing. She says she
Yeah.
respects her for it. And she just says that she says the testing thing about everyone, and it's not a jab. It's about anyone who comes in to step on toes. She's like, I'm not like defining it, your journey as a test. I was just using it as a general term, but I
Yeah.
apologize if it came out wrong. And I was like, okay.
Man, did good.
And Olandria's like, anyone else got anything to get off their chest? I didn't think so. And she stops.
Gotta go.
She didn't say it that hard, but she was just like, anybody else? No, that's what I thought. Taylor is last, and he has a stack of cards. And I was after when I noticed Taylor was last, I was like, good, because I thought everybody was gonna have a mailbox, but it seems like everybody but Casa people had a mailbox.
Yeah.
And TJ and Iris.
They probably didn't show theirs.
Oh, true.
They were like, this doesn't matter.
Yeah. So the first one says, you and Olandria had such a strong connection. How can that change so quickly? And he's like, Clark gave me a different feeling, that kid feeling. And Olandria
How
cuts
old are
him off.
you?
She's like, he's like, 25? I can't be a kid?
No, just wondering. I'm
Huda
like, "Ooh."
goes, it's crazy to me that you guys have built a connection over 3, 4 weeks. And what 3 days changes that completely? And Taylor's like, I've already got to know her for 3 weeks. Can I get to know Clark? And Huda's like, why are you saying you're going to spend time with Olandria and then not do that? And Taylor's like, I'm trying. And Olandria asks Clark, like, do you feel like he's trying? And Clark's like, yeah. And I'm like, no, he's not, Clark.
Mm.
Uh, to Taylor from Olandria, stand on business and stop acting like a little bitch with
Oh.
a smiley face. I was like, she's about to pop off.
Mm-hmm.
She says, after the challenge, you said you wanted to kiss me back, but out of respect for Clark, you didn't. You never spared my feelings throughout this whole thing, but now you spare hers? I don't like that. If it was always fuck my feelings, then it's officially fuck yours. You don't give that you're trying to explore. You're telling me one thing and you're moving another. I don't know what you're telling Clark, but I know what you're telling me. And you say you still want to explore both of us, but it doesn't give that. In case you didn't know Clark, he did say that. And Clark's like, I know.
He tells me.
And Elandria's like, but you don't move like that. And Cierra's like, in that moment when he chose Clark, that wasn't on some, I'm going to continue to get to know you both. She was going to leave the island. And Elandria's like, literally, y'all didn't know that no one was going to get saved. So for you to throw a whole thing away after you've been building on it for 4 weeks just because shit got hard, like you want to jump off to the next girl and she don't really know how much, or she doesn't really know about what you did previously. And this is bullshit to me. If I was moving like Taylor, Taylor wouldn't fucking be here. And they just show Taylor like with his hands on his face. Um, she says, when Jalen was here, I reassured this man every motherfucking day and he didn't do shit for me. Since this girl has been here, I've been so motherfucking real with Taylor, and I can't express how fucking angry I've been. I've been holding this together. I've been taking it on the chin every motherfucking day, being dumped motherfucking left and right. Not once did I ever question my worth. What do you need from me? I asked you. What do you need from this fucking connection? And you couldn't say shit. And a girl comes here and gives you 3 days of fucking attention and you go? Go ahead, finish reading. She went off.
He
And I was
did.
like, oh,
As she
I'm
should. Get
glad.
it off your chest, you know?
Right.
But
Right.
listen to what you're saying. You put forth all this effort and he gave nothing.
Right. Like even today we saw you trying again. And I'm like, okay, so I think she's like, I'm just gonna be like nice and I'm gonna be like cute and like, if he wants to talk to me, he can. Like, because if I say what I really want to say, he's probably not gonna want to talk to me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor goes, I feel like you want me to think for you and move for you. This experience is for everybody individually. So the time I move for me, it's a damn problem for you. For Cierra, I could have left you vulnerable. And Olandria's like, she gave you 5 minutes of conversation and that was enough for you to stand up. And Taylor's like, can I finish? I'll let you speak. And Olandria's like, go ahead, but you said a bunch of bullshit. But go ahead, go ahead. And Taylor's like, it's my experience too. Okay, Aaron, it's my experience.
It's my experience. We all have an experience. It's my experience. It's my experience too.
He's like, I'm not moving to keep you here. You feel me? Like, I'm moving to make a connection with whomever I make a connection with. That was my whole plan throughout here. And the way you was thinking was you wanted me to move for you. And PePe says he stood on business. You know, Zach is like, oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. He's really saying it. Um, and so Taylor kind of keeps it at that.
But he's
Uh,
missing the point. Yes, you should make decisions for you. And yes, this is for you. But you have not been honest with Olandria.
right. She's saying like it took you 3 weeks, it took you 3 days. The crux is, did you even like me? Or were you being honest? You know, she
And
said that in a confessional once, and I was like,
yeah.
that's what you need to tell him right now.
Mm-hmm. Because the truth
Like,
is he didn't.
he didn't. Like, were you really that's what everybody's trying to get at. But he's just like, I can get to know somebody and I can like somebody. That's not what we're talking
Correct. But
about.
that's not the point. Yeah. Mm.
And I kind of feel like he he didn't really like Olandria said what she needed to say, but Taylor just being like, I just found a different connection and I'm moving for myself. Like it's kind of letting him have the upper hand when it's really like, no, like you're right,
Yes.
Olandria, but
Mm-hmm.
we're not telling him like it seems like I feel like you made it seem like you like me, and it turns out in 3 days you can move on to somebody else. So maybe you didn't like me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then last one is to Taylor from question mark. Make up your mind. And he's like, well, since y'all want me to make up my mind, okay, I pick Clark. And Olandria just nods and she does a little clap for him. And that's the end of the
I'm
episode.
just so confused. He already picked Clark. Like, right?
Yes, but he told Olandria he would explore. So now they're like, make up your mind. And he's like, cool, I'm good off of her. I'm not
But then he
exploring her.
didn't explore. So that's why I'm like, people, like, sometimes I'm
Yeah.
like, when people need somebody to say something, I'm like, no, like, yes, but also pay attention to their actions.
Mm-hmm.
He picked Clark. He wrote Clark's name down. You were
Yep.
going to go home. He said he would try with you. He didn't try with you, and he's only been with Clark.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. You're 100% right, Brandon. I'm like, I don't know why it needs to be said, but
You know, it
I
takes.
felt for Olandria here.
Right. I did too. And I like that she got a lot of it out. It did feel like he almost got the upper hand with what he was saying, but really he was just like flipping it. And like the thing is, I think Alandria is also just very frustrated with herself that she put forth so much effort for someone who clearly didn't reciprocate it. So,
Yeah, and
it,
there's nobody in the villa that's gonna be there for like that can fit that mold for her.
yeah, but maybe there'll be a bombshell that comes that will. I mean, it's pretty late in the season. I don't know who the fuck's gonna win this season. I don't know. I'm not really rooting for
No,
anyone, any couple, I should say.
right?
So I'm just like, I don't know what's about to
Exactly.
happen. But
Sorry, earlier you started to say something. You said it takes.
it takes what? What did I say?
You were starting to say, but I cut you off. I was.
Oh,
I don't know
hmm.
if you remember.
Good question. How long ago was it?
Like right before what we were just talking about.
It takes. I don't remember.
Oh, okay, my bad,
You're
Brandon.
good.
I feel like virtually we're delayed a little bit, and so
Oh,
like sometimes I'm like, no, I want to hear Brandon talk,
oh no, you're
but
good.
but yes, I agree with you. I was like, wow, so everybody hates each other. That's cool. Um,
Like
where did this come
honestly,
from?
it really is like crazy. Like I'm just exhausted by everyone, and I can't
Yeah,
believe I'm excited for Beyond the Villa.
100%.
Like even if it doesn't look that great, I miss those people.
Me
Like I need
too.
them.
Me too. Because we're definitely watching that next.
Yes, and I think actually
Um,
this should be done by then. I thought this would go longer because it did last time, but I think maybe it premiered later.
Oh yeah, yeah. I looked and it ends next Sunday. But yeah, I don't know who's gonna fucking win at
Love
this point.
Island ends
Ends
next Sunday.
the 13th.
And then that's the first episode of Beyond the Villa.
The night of the 13th?
Yeah, I think
Oh
so.
wow. Yeah.
Damn, that's like a week from now. Who's supposed to win? I don't know.
Who did you vote for?
Oh yeah, we had to vote. There was a vote for favorite guy and favorite girl. I voted Amaya and Brian.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see the episode. I just knew a vote was coming, so I voted for Amaya and Nick, and I'm not mad at that. Nick is whatever, but I think I would
Yeah.
have voted for Amaya and Chris
Oh yeah.
after tonight. But yeah.
But yeah, so I low key, because we're recording this and episode 27 already aired, I kind of already know who got eliminated because I
You've
saw
seen
on
them both?
Instagram.
Both, Brandon?
It's not both. There's like five people who left.
Oh my God, five?
Should I say? Should we say spoiler?
Okay, yeah. No, wait, I don't know. I don't know. Me, money, mo. Okay, yeah, just do it.
Okay, spoiler for anyone listening that doesn't know, even though you probably already watched if you're listening to this because we release these after.
Right.
Um, Idrina, TJ, Grayson, Austin, and Jaden. Yeah,
Oh,
Jade.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm not mad
Right.
at any of those
I'm
people.
like, all right.
All right, my guys.
But people are wondering why Cierra is still there.
Oh,
Because of
maybe she
everything
was
we
on the
discussed
bottom.
before. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, oh, because of like production needing to, because of what she said.
Yeah, but I wonder if this was filmed before. And people are saying these weren't the results. And I'm like, low key, these might be because I know y'all, because people, regardless of anything that came forward about Sierra, let's just like just this past episode, people were really against Sierra, Chelley, and Olandria.
Mm-hmm.
And although I get that, y'all, like, everyone's voting for like Amaya and Huda. But then who from there was voting for Grayson? Who was voting for
Mm,
Andreina? Who was
mm-hmm.
voting for Jay? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and regardless of whatever, those three girls who've been there since the beginning have a core fan base. Like, they're gonna get
Yeah.
votes. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I'm excited to watch it because I'm curious if like some people got some feedback like, hey, yeah, no, we don't agree with you, namely
Mm-hmm.
Ace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting.
I'm
Um,
excited too.
I want to look back and see if I can, like they don't show the voting results, right? So we would never know.
Yeah, I think they have on Instagram, it was like, because there was some voting where it was like ranking most to least of like random things. So I wonder if
Mm-hmm.
that's what ended up being revealed as well.
Mm,
But I think there was like the ultimate vote that put certain people at the bottom.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
because I it was this morning or this afternoon I saw which standing on business moments can you not stop thinking about? And the first was Huda and Chelly's beef, the boys and Amaya, Olandria and Taylor, Ace and Austin, and then the PePe choice was last.
mm,
So I think people were really, I know Amaya was up there, but mostly Huda and Chelley. So
yeah.
it's interesting. It's interesting. Look, this last week of Love Island is not slowing down at all.
No, it's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
And things just keep changing. But you know what
Yeah.
doesn't change? Us.
We're consistent. We're still here.
Period.
We're riding through the
Yes.
end.
We're hanging on. And but with that being said, I think that's it for today's episode.
That's it for today's episode.
Thank y'all
Austin's
so.
finally out of the villa.
I know, right?
Bye,
Let's
Austin. Fuck
rejoice. Thank
you.
God. No one mourns the wicked. Goodness knows the wicked lives lonely. But we can't wait to recap that next episode.
I know.
But in the meantime, in between time,
Hmm.
make sure to rate and review us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. Leave a review. We actually have a new review to shout out
Woohoo!
on
Yay!
Apple Podcasts from Laura underscore sweet underscore B. Love Island recaps done right. 5 stars. Y'all literally had me spitting out my coffee with some of your takes. I'm so happy I found this podcast. The recaps are hilarious, the commentary is on point, and I love how you keep it fun without taking it all too seriously. Makes watching Love Island even better. Keep it up. Thank you, Laura.
Thank
That
you.
was so
Oh,
nice.
so nice. I love it. Thank you
Uh,
so much.
that's so sweet. And also, y'all, we're almost at the 100th episode of the
I
podcast. This
know.
is
This is
98.
98.
We're close, y'all.
We need to do something. What should we
We
do to
do.
celebrate 100? Let us know.
Should we get Crumble Cookie, Benson Boone? Moon?
Do you know how
Uh,
to backflip?
no, I can barely cartwheel. Um, but with that, y'all, too, you could go on Spotify and give us 5 stars, and you can leave comments. We got a couple comments last episode, which was nice. We love those, so keep those coming. If you want to see our beautiful faces instead of just listening to our beautiful voices, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Shade of It All Podcast. We post clips on TikTok at the Shade of It All Podcast. We have our Instagram at the Shade of It All Pod and our Patreon at the Shade of It All. We do weekly live watch parties every Friday. And it's
Yes.
only $3, so you should sign up.
Mhm.
It's very fun.
Yes.
Um, but we'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.